less than 1 minute as I get this stream set up a little bit here. Let's open up our chats. Audio should be good. Visual should be good. We've got phone sized on YouTube. And computer sized on Twitch. What's up, Sloth? Oh, and we just got the first game started. Okay. Perfect. We are playing a CM from Germany. I knew that flag. E4, C5. Let's play an AC3. Let's go. Title Tuesday underway. Oh, my phone was muted. Rare move, knight f6. I think we should take it. I'll take it and just play d3. Something I want to do now is just f4 and knight f3 and get kind of a good version of... Let's play f3. Are they going to come to h5? If they come to h5, then I'm going to bring my knight to f4. Via here or here. They do. I mean, we can go after this guy with like g4 and such. But they're probably going to play e5, right? If I do nothing. So one option we have is g4, bishop g6, f4, which is actually kind of appealing. I like that, actually. It's very ambitious, but there's no queen h4 stuff yet. And until they get in this move e5, it's kind of fun to do stuff. h4 is possible as well. I like just f4. Just take the whole space, yeah. And I'm going to castle the other way. So e5 they needed to kind of grab space in the middle, but they didn't get that in. They played this ambitious move first, and they might be paying the price a little bit. Because e6 I can also just go f5 and trap you, with the pawn staying here guarding this, so you need to move this pawn. I mean, h5 is just g5, and then knight moves somewhere, and then f5, I can run you over. So h6, what am I going to do? Do I want f5? Probably, I might just play the very simple bishop e3, and e6 happens to defend this. Maybe I do play f5 then, bishop h7 and bishop e3. Yeah, I think this is annoying. So let's do it with f5. I mean, how ambitious do we want to go here? That could be good. h4, e6, g5. Really run them over. No, you start running some risks of... Alright, let's just play simple bishop e3. This was definitely worth consideration. But I'm targeting here, and the reason I played f5 first is because now this move's a little tough to defend. Okay, they do it anyway. I don't know what else they were going to play. Okay, let's take it. And do we want h4? Yeah, honestly, it's... No. Let's just go queen. Let's just go something simple, queen e2. I need to start moving fast. h4, it was very appealing, but there was this idea to come under for a check that I didn't love to have to deal with. Okay, let's castle. Castle as well. Maybe we could have been more ambitious about that whole thing. Okay, h4, e5. I do like this, though. h4, so if e5, I'm going to play g5, knight g4, and probably just knight f3. They don't want to take it, because then g6 could win some material. Let's be a little faster here. We're down a minute on the clock. I want g5, knight f3, because I don't want to lose this pawn. I thought this would be kind of a more annoying weakness, but I didn't choose the most ambitious route. d4 was worth considering because of the rook here and the lack of coordination, forcing maybe an awkward recapture, but I didn't want to free you. I think they should just go e5. I mean, go g5. they would play knight g4 there, right? Then I would play knight f3. Go with that. So they're pinning me. Knight f3 takes g4, rook g1. Okay, let's just go with queen g2 to defend the rook and this pawn with knight f3 next. I have the little beeper now. I got my little beeper. I'm gonna give this pawn. Unless you do have knight g4. It takes knight 3. I think I could have played that whole sequence a little better. It's okay though. Here, check does nothing. Oh, unless they want queen a5, king b2. Let's go here. But they don't have to take it, actually.
5.
Whoa. I did not play this well at all.
Four, 5.
That's annoying, but helpful.
4, 5.
It's really annoying.
4, 3, 2, 3.
I'm glad I have it.
2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4.
Go, go, go.
3,
Wait,
4,
are we gonna win?
5.
We're gonna win. I would not have won without my new little extension.
4, 5.
This is all they could do. Let's just do that. Oh, I need auto queen on. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. I can't believe we pulled that out, because that was so poorly played. But we won. Okay. Okay, what's up, Sloth? Conron, 3 Stone Knights. We won. I like the little thing that talks to me. Do you guys hear that? I think you do. We won this game. Here's something we can do is this. So bring this to the this here. Let's have a look at this one. And then you guys can see the eval bar now. Okay. This was... Okay. What happened here? So they went knight f6. Engine wanted me to go knight f3. But then my point... Like, I want to take it and then play f4 before knight f3. So... Okay. But in the game I took d3. e5 was what I was expecting. I wanted to go f4. I thought this would be better for me than I guess it is. Oh, it's because of this sharp move. c4. It's kind of nasty. Bishop comes right to b4. Pressure here and here. Interesting. Okay, in the game, bishop g4, and this should have been nice for me, because f3, then this bishop... Yeah, this is a nice idea I find here. I guess they were expecting just knight e2, and after e5, they're okay here. I don't get to play knight f4 to target you. But I have this nice idea, g4, f4, and so this should be really nice, as my pawns really flow, hit these pieces. Bishop e3, I mean, it actually is like basically the best move. Hits this pawn now, so I've played f5, hit the bishop, and now with e6, I didn't even really want me to take it. It just wants like queen f3, Yeah, because I realized after takes, I was like thinking about queen f3, but then I'm like, oh, it just puts me right in line with this rook that's about to come here. But I have no real obligation to take it. I guess I kind of overestimate how weak this pawn would be. It's not like I can attack it. It's not like I can even stop it from coming to e5 if I want to. So this was, okay, apparently not a great choice. I guess because c4, and then they've got some pressure here now, so queen e2. I get away with it because they miss c4. And so now I'm able to castle. Now c4 would just open up onto their queen. And here we're just kind of spending too much time. I want h4, g5 to hit the knight, and then to come here, and maybe to have some openings on the g and h lines. Play this bishop g6. This was not the right idea. News artist was subscribed on YouTube. Thank you so much. So queen g2, I played to defend g4 if knight f3, and also to defend my rook if we trade here. But better was just h5, bishop back, and g5. That makes sense. Now I have no pawn to protect, and I can play knight f3, and everything's coordinated, and I've got files and such. Okay, in the game, queen g2. Okay, well, whatever. Next game. Oh, we're playing a Grand Master. We got... Oh, my goodness. Let's go here. Can you guys see all this? Oh, no. Problem is that. Okay. I mean, not super ambitious on their part. Let's stop this d4 idea. This is what I understand their idea to be, knight here, right? And then here. So, about that. I could just play like f5. It's kind of interesting if I do, and then maybe even f4 to take away this. d6 and ac6 are, of course, moves I want to make. All right, do I even let them do their thing? Do I even need to let you? No. I'm not even going to let you. They wanted to come all the way there. But to get a knight from here to here, 2 diagonal squares away, it takes a lot of effort. Alright, we're going to be fast here. Got still above 2 minutes early. My next couple moves are... Okay, that one was predictable, yeah. So should I just play d6 or should I take it? I should just play d6. Might be hard to defend. No, let's just play d6. Tough thing is b6 might be a little tricky to get in. Okay, let's play knight c6 now to shield here. What happens if they keep piling up? Because... Okay, they're just going to play like that. But now, we've got some... I don't know. Do I want to come all the way here? Do I want to... Let's just play something simple like rook b8. So that I could play b6 if need be. I can move my bishop if need be. Maybe they're just playing bishop b2. Now we've got some ideas. Let's go like here and like h4. I don't know. Why not? e4. Okay, targeted this. Kind of annoying to deal with, actually. I'm gonna play now h4 to try to hold this. It's kind of my concern. But the thing is, if they play h4, there's a weakness here. This now becomes a little annoying to protect. Because I want a knight f5 if h4, of course. Baby, you're like lightning in a bottle. Did not expect that. kind of thought that I would just go... Oh. Okay, we're gonna go here. So F3, I'm just gonna come back, right? I don't know why that took me so long to figure out. It's definitely the best idea. Position's actually very nice for me, I think. I want this. But my idea is better. Which is this, I think. Is this interesting? It just kind of popped into my head. All captures here are good, but it's kind of pinned right now, right? So I want it with the knight. If F5, they mean they could do that. But then a take, I still grab the rook. I don't know. I think that's what they're going to do, though. Knight takes F4 is very strong. Let's grab this. Okay, we're up a little bit of material. Like, not a ton. Did I miss this? It's pinned, actually? No, but this is defended too many times. So maybe not a great idea. Here. D3. This is actually looking quite good. We are winning here for sure. I have this. This is very good, actually. Check. Yum. I'd better, but it's fine.
Five, four, three, four,
I'd...
three, three, four.
It's completely lost. We got him.
3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5.
Let's go. Come on. Down with the GM. 29.45 minus 14. Let's go. We're out of 2 entitled Tuesday. Oh, baby. Thank you for the sub, Encore. We've got this thing that talks to me, man. This thing that talks to me about my rating. About my time. I love it. I love it. Let's go. We just got he just played the most boring English opening against me. Just like, here, I played C5. Like, do you want a Sicilian? He's like, no, I'm going to play C4. And so, like, it's just transposed to, like, a symmetrical sort of English, C4, C5. My little spice on the symmetrical English is that we've kind of here, we have the same position, but my knight is not going to come to F6, right? So that would be symmetrical. You note my knight came to E7 after just grabbing this space with E5. So, okay, it's still, like, 0.2. Oh, I got our emote-only reminder from chess.com admin. Let's go, let's go. Down with the GMs. So, okay, this would be the same position if they had the knight here and they'd be up a tempo. And you know, like, the knight here isn't actually good, because the structure I put of my hole on d5, like, this knight is actually very far from taking advantage of it. But they start that maneuver. So they go with knight e1. So they're looking at here, here, and here. And I'm just like, I'm just not going to give you that. So I play f5, they go knight c2, I play f4. And okay, it actually wasn't the best idea. Better is, like, just d6, and if knight e3, okay, then f4. Okay, they get this, and it's just, like, not a big deal, is apparently. It's, like, just, there's still, evaluation's still about plus 0.2, and I have some ideas of kingside attack, as I did in the game. I play f4 very ambitious, so I seed some sort of light squares in the middle when I do it. And the thing is, the knight on c2, yeah, it's not only coming to e3, it actually supports this idea of b4, and they take some space over here. So d6, they're already much better, and they do everything exactly right here. Rook b1, now they've got some pressure on b7, threatening to take, and take. I mean, I just shield that pretty naturally with knight c6. So their best idea, they put the pawn on a3, which was a mistake. They should have put the bishop on a3. I was thinking about this during the game. I can't cover c5 with b6 because of b5, and now I will lose something along this diagonal. And otherwise, because if you took first and then bishop a3, then I have b6, and I'm okay here. I'm totally okay. I mean, that was actually a very nice trade for me. Whereas if you play b5 right now, my pawn is still here. But bishop a3 has that nice little in-between of stopping b6 while still keeping b5 on the table, attacking here. So I would kind of have to take, and then this gives them, like, kind of a lot of ideas to play with, threats on b7 and on d6. That's not the trade I wanted. C for b. I want to trade b for d. In the game... Wait, I just want to make sure I don't lose the next round. Okay, so I played it knight c6. They missed that. They put the pawn on a3, just kind of supporting this dude on b4. But yeah, my idea was never really to take it, so it wasn't the best idea. But they played it right away. So I play a rook b8, just making b7 solid, so my bishop can move somewhere without any ideas of, like, trade and hit b7. So I play rook b8, just patching up a little bit. They play bishop to b2, now blocking this. Okay, we'll get back to this analysis later. Let's go. Oh my god, we're playing Daniel Naroditsky. Let's go / emote only. Good luck, Mr. Danya. Literally, like, my favorite chess YouTuber. I hope he moves. Did he miss it? Good luck. Is anybody watching his stream right now? We're both on 2 out of 2 Entitled Tuesday. He's probably beating, like, Magnus and Hikaru. I beat a CM and a GM, though. Okay. He moved. He just spotted me 34 seconds. He's like, that's not enough of a handicap. I need to give you a little more. Alright, knight c3. Let's play this with, like, e6. Let's see if he wants a French. Let's see if he wants a French. Because if you just continue with Joe Bob and then maybe... Okay, you wanted a French. You wanted a French. Oh, yes. This is one of my favorite gambits. Oh my god, he knew it. What? He played a3. I wanted to put my bishop there, and he knew that. Alright. That's fine. I didn't want to put my bishop there anyway. Okay, well now he's really threatening to take this. Okay, let's trade. I feel like an open center is a good idea for me, because... Is he thinking about gambiting against me, like not taking this pawn and playing f3? That would be pretty awesome. I don't think that's objectively a good idea, but... So, yeah, I feel like I want an open center. Queen g6, just knight g3, and then I get hit. So I'm honestly... Do I have some fun square? I'm probably just going to get attacked wherever I go. Let's just come back to d8. So yeah, I have the bishop pair, which is why I wanted things to open up a little bit. If I go here, is he going to go, like, check on b5, induce c6, and then kind of, like, something interesting like that? Alright, we're just going to play bishop e7. There's nowhere else this bishop is going to go. Okay, now I wanted b6. Now that he can't bother me with that stuff, with this check. Ah, okay, he sets up for... I don't know if he's setting up for long castle or just taking this away as an option. He might be setting up for long castle. So, okay, my bishop pair looks like I got something for the lack of space advantage, for sure. Like, I have a bishop pair, and I was able to keep the center a little bit open, you know? Let's play knight d7, because I'm not really sure. Like, are you going to go all out here? Then maybe I don't want to castle in that direction if you're going to do that, Mr. Danya. Okay, do I want to trade and open this? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. What's the best way to handle this? I've got a lot of options here, but it might be too many options for my own good. If I do nothing, he plays f4, but if I take it, then I feel like I'm immediately giving myself some problems. Okay, I'm going to play a6. I'm going to keep this out of here. So he's threatening bishop b5. He's not now. Goes there. I think what I want to do is maybe trade, actually. And queen d5. Bishop a6. I have... Oh, he didn't even want to consider that stuff. Okay. We should be a little faster. Oh, wait. Queen a2 was my idea. I forgot about my own idea. Wasn't this good? That was part of the reason I did that. I just forgot about it. I'm like, yeah, I should move the queen. This was a good move. That was one of the reasons I did this. That was like the reason I did it. Queen a2, yeah, c3 I had here. Okay, whatever. I'm not crying over spilled milk. Was I getting trapped? No, I wasn't. It was a good move. I missed it. Even though I didn't miss it. I missed it, whatever. Alright, let's castle. There were knight checks and hits here. I like my position, actually. I have a good position. Alright, we're just going to stack. I can't think of anything better to do. d4 is interesting. c3. I mean, like, I'm just kind of trusting him that it doesn't work. But I don't really know why I am. Just, like, I'm not going to win the chess game by trusting him that it doesn't work. Just stack. I don't have a lot of time. f5 is another idea. I mean, it forces this en passant, and then I can, like, look to put the second pawn on f5. Okay, he wants to push f5. Okay, let's go here. I'm not going to win a chess game by trusting you. What if I don't trust you? What if I don't trust you? Let's go here.
Five, four, three.
Wait. Does that
four,
work? And then this? I don't know what's happening here, actually.
3, 2, 3.
Oh my god, wait, I'm winning. I think.
3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3.
Don't flag me.
2, 3, 2, 3.
No, no, oh my god.
2.
It really made me panic.
3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4.
Shush. You're making me panic again.
4, 3, 4.
I don't want to draw.
4,
No.
4, 3, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Damn it. Wait, this was probably winning if I push. Okay, what a battle. Oh my god. Wait. Okay. Oh my god. What a crazy game, guys. If that thing telling me my time is as annoying to you as it is to me, that was a funny game. I had him. I had him. He knows I had him. Okay. Oh man. I think I had him at the end there too. Okay, emote only off. Wait, okay, gotta have a look. So he plays a Joe Bava. I'm like, I wanted to play the French because I wanted this gambit. I wanted this gambit. So, and I get it. So we get a French transposition, right? So as if he played like e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, right? So this is the position we got in the game, just kind of a different move order. He plays here bishop g5, and I play h6. So takes, and I have this McCutcheon gambit from Chess Mood on my channel, where we give this pawn now after bishop to b4. There's actually a lot of fun. So we're threatening to take it back. d6 castles. Let me talk a little bit more about this opening later. He didn't do that. He didn't do any of that. He just plays a3, which is a good move. It just takes away what I want to do in the position. And I'm just like, okay, I have a bishop pair, and I don't really want just like a French structure so much. I feel like after e5, he got rid of his dark square bishop. Did he respond to me in chat? No. He got rid of his dark square bishop, which would have otherwise be bad, and my light square bishop would look bad there. So I'm like, okay, this is a good opportunity to maybe make this trade. Take, and I just come back to d8, just out of the way of everybody. Queen g6, okay, was interesting, hitting here and here, but knight g3, I thought it kind of just developed pretty naturally. Okay, okay, we'll get to all this analysis later. All right, finally an IM, after all these GMs. We got 2.5 out of 3 in Title Tuesday. We're rolling. All right, let's put emote only back on. We are rolling in Title Tuesday. Let's go. IM should be slight orc. Interesting. We're going to set up like this. And like this. Do you really want me to play knight d5? I will. I'll do it. Say no more. The other thing is takes. I kind of need like d6. I kind of need d6 and I won't have it. Okay, let's play d4 right now though while I can. Your bishop's not here yet. If I go bishop f4 and you play e5 and then I take it, but then you take it and you're good. Okay. Yeah, you would go like d takes there, right? I think we should just come back on knight d2, honestly. I don't think knight d5 is happening. I don't think it's happening. I go with that. Oh, now it's happening. Yes, please. Give me that. I need d6. I just need the queen support here. I don't even think they can take this knight. I think it's too strong. Here, like, d6 comes, fork, bishop will hit the rook. I should have played a4, b4, knight d5. I could have. Okay, what do we got? You're going to move your queen. No, you take it. Wow. Okay, you castle out of it. I could take this, but then I feel like that helps you. Let's go d6. Thank you for the sub or the follow. Yeah, I can't move my eyes right now. Let's go d6. Can I, like, torture you a little bit? Yeah. We're going to do that. Keep this knight pinned. So f6, and then I'll take it. And then I induced f6, which blocks your one good piece. And now we'll back up, and I'm going to like that. I like that. I like that. Oh, we're rolling. We're rolling. Don't lose your queen also, because you played f6, opening that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, we are on fire today. We are on fire today. Come on. You kidding? Let's go. 3.5 out of 4 against very good opposition. This is my first Title Tuesday with the little talkie thing of the clock. Oh man. Okay, let's give you guys freedom of speech. Emote only off. I think Dirty Ape with the follow on Twitch. Okay, e6. This is how I like to set up against e6. I never get a chance to finish my analysis. We got a lot to do. But, and this is the break right now in Title Tuesday. So we've got 3.5 out of 4. Whew. This is our best start ever. I don't think I've ever had 3.5 out of 4. Okay, knight e2. I like knight e2 before g3, even though, like, it's pretty telling that my bishop's coming this way. Because if I play g3, then after d5, takes, d4, they can actually, like, put a lot of pressure here. They can draw my queen out right now. What I want to do it's important for me to play knight e2 so that if d5, after takes, I can hit you with d4 with the knight support, right? Why is d4 also so important? It's because if I let them play d4, you saw that massive swing in the eval bar. Actually, I don't know if you did. Wait, no. Now you do. So, if I let them play d4, then A, they take a lot of space, B, the whole point of me being able to hold this blockade here is that they have this pawn that will never be defended by a fellow pawn, right? There's no e-pawn, and the c-pawn is now past it. It can only be defended by a fellow pawn if it gets to d4. And then it would be actually a strong pawn kind of in my face, and they would have a big development advantage. So playing d4 here and holding this blockade is very important, and you can see, like, okay, if they play knight f6 and knight c6, like just imagine all this happens, right? The key for a pawn being weak or being strong, right? The key is, can it move? And so me just holding the blockade, not just like putting a knight there and then making it look pretty, but just making sure it can't move. And now after something like bishop to g5, so I'm threatening to like take it and then add all these attackers here or get rid of the knight here. Like, okay, if say bishop e6 to tie yourself down, after dc5, I'm just dominating this pawn. Like, okay, bishop takes c5, I can play knight f4, and yeah, really kill this pawn along with the pin, for example. So that's all good stuff, and it kind of stops them from playing d5. That's why I start with knight e2 here. I like this little line. So they play your queen c7 as if I'm going to play like an open Sicilian, which makes a little more sense here. I mean, it's not like a totally ridiculous move by any stretch. Okay, I play g3. Okay, the engine wanted me to play an open Sicilian, but I'm playing g3. They play a6. And they're not really getting this in, like if b5, then maybe like e5 kind of at some moment. So they're just developing here, knight to e7. I think they play knight to e7 because they're actually realizing my idea of rook e1 and knight d5, and they think the knight on e7 will shield them from this file. The thing is, knight d5 can actually always be there if they're lacking development, and they're just kind of playing moves like queen c7, a6. Really, knight d5 can always be strong if your king is here. You need to get your king out of there ASAP, and they didn't quite. So after castles, they go knight c6, I go rook e1, and the not-so-secret idea is I want to go knight d5. Right, so imagine you just proceeded with something like b5 here. Okay, now I'm going to drop my knight on d5. Takes. Hit this. So, I mean, and then there's all sorts of stuff here. So, like, the knight will move somewhere. I have at minimum d6 and takes, or this d6, you know, just pinning the knight here if the pawn is protected. But here, this is already good because I'm getting the rook. So this is a very, very strong idea. Just the knight just dropping into d5 takes, like, also good. Otherwise, like, the queen needs to move. But then, like, you can imagine a knight hanging out here is going to be, like, pretty strong and very restrictive on my opponent's development. So they tried g6 to develop here, but they can't get g6 and bishop g7 in one turn. Right, so g6. So owing to that moment of weakness, I don't have knight d5 right now. I think just takes. Even now, you see it's like not so ridiculous. It's not so ridiculous. It's only minus 0.7. But I don't really have anything because I don't have d6 next. But even then, okay, I can play d4. I can make some trades. I can try to look to start to play d6. This pressure here is very, very strong. In the game, d4 takes, knight takes d4, bishop to g7. Now hitting this. Engine wanted me to actually play knight takes. I think, yeah, the line is giving is knight takes, and it really wants the knight to just come in there. It's a very strong idea. So d takes, I thought this was okay for them. Apparently, it's like a +1 position. I thought d takes as a capture was fine. But, okay, I'm just actually playing knight d2, which actually really sets me back in my knight d5 progress. I was really expecting them to castle, and the position's just equal. I was just going to play bishop f4. I wanted them to play e5 here so that I could now back up and say this is blockaded and maybe, you know, start looking at this square. They don't have to do that. They can actually put themselves in a pin here is the best move. Okay, knight d2, I kind of gave up on this. I was just kind of fortifying my knight against what would otherwise be a good bishop. But here they make a big mistake. They play b5, very ambitious move, trying to put the bishop here and maybe look towards long castling. I don't know, maybe try to play a quick b4. And you're like, okay, now you've done it. That was one move too long. And here comes knight d5. Brilliant. Brilliant. Let's go. Dropping it in there. Takes, pawn takes d. So takes was even a big mistake. Yeah, you got to go queen d8. You got to cut your losses here and just acknowledge, like, okay, I've got a monster in your face. Deal with it. And I might, you know, hit you with the pin. I might pay you a visit on the f6 square. This all looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, shout out to this rook. So e takes d5 they play, and now here comes pawn takes d5. Their best move. They have one move to not give a big advantage. It's queen d6. So stopping the pawn from advancing d6. They put the queen right there on d6. So the point is now if I take it, trade, and takes, and so this isn't such a bad structure for them. In fact, the best move is like knight c3. Trying to play knight e4 and d6. You can just kind of like be down a pawn here a little bit. You can kind of be down a pawn here a little bit. But like it's very strong to try and play this move d6. Yeah, that's the reason I opened this with the move d4, so that the queen would have support here, and also like the bishop has openings now without this pawn. Okay, in the game they finally castle, but now d6 is very strong. I don't know if they were expecting this, after which black is okay, but d6 is brutal here. They played b5. Again, both times they actually tried to fianchetto. They played g6, but I had d4, before they were able to play bishop to g7 and control that. And then they played b5 again, and I struck with this before they were able to play bishop to b7 and control that. And both times, when you start a fianchetto, you have that moment of weakness along that diagonal. You have that moment of weakness along that diagonal, such that, like, I can hit you there before your bishop's there. So it's something to watch out for both sides. Starting fianchetto, you want to fill that ASAP, and I didn't give them a chance. So queen d8, and now this is another nice touch move. Yes, this is a very, very nice position for me, of course. Like, okay, I can just go here, and everything is quite nice, but much stronger is bishop to g5. Much stronger is bishop g5, threatening to take this with this pin everywhere. This is brutal. Your only move is f6 to get out of this pin, and so now I'll take it. It has a tempo on the queen, so no worries about the bishop. Queen takes e7, bishop f4. They end up just, like, hanging bishop to d6, but you can hardly say that's the reason they lost. I mean, the best move is plus 3.3 after queen d8. Queen d8, like, the only piece that moved at all, and black has no good pieces. Their structure is a total mess, like knight c3 or knight d4 here, putting pressure on the pin. My rook's just coming to d1, like, the world's most pleasant position here for white. I played f6, I blocked their one good piece, and gave another opening onto the king. And so, after bishop to d7, bishop to d6, they had enough here, because, yeah. It's bad when after queen f7, this isn't even the best move. This isn't even the best move. It's better to actually take the rook and give them an out with queen takes f8. So, yeah, queen f7 is not even far from being the best move. Queen d8 is like a +5 position. That's really brutal. Yeah, we got him. We got him. We're rolling in Title Tuesday. We are rolling. What is up, everybody in the chat? I have a couple games against the GMs to review that I really want to review. My win against the GM and my draw against Mr. Daniel Naroditsky. But I want to spend some time on those reviews. I think that's really, really interesting stuff. So stay tuned for after Title Tuesday finishes, and then I will focus on that. Hikaru up next, yeah. You said it. You said it. What are the stand-ins looking like? Okay, there's a lot of people on 4. Look at me. I'm on 3.5. Naroditsky's on 3.5. Tang's on 3.5. Jeffrey Zhang on 3.5. Hikaru's on 3.5. Yeah, maybe. We're gonna get a really tough game. I'm actually so excited. Everyone on 3.5 is really good. Hello, Emerson. Nice to meet you. Yes, you can play with me if you are in Title Tuesday. Whew. Big Title Tuesday, folks. Big Title Tuesday. 3.5 out of 4, and it started looking really bad. Because our very first game, we were losing. We were really losing. But next round's going to start shortly. Guys, me with the thing that talks to me about my time. That's it. Alright, buddy, you need to stop spamming the chat. But nice to meet you. I don't know how long the break is. I could start analyzing the other game, but I want to, like, rest for a moment. Prep for my next big game. Buddy, don't make me ban you. You can't keep pasting the same thing over and over. Don't do that. Cannot see the entire board on YouTube. Okay, you should be able to now, and also I'll be in focus mode. Yeah, you're getting banned. Just stop pasting the same thing over and over. Like, why do you do this? You're in a timeout for half an hour. Sorry. I lied. I'm not sorry. Alright, can you see it now? Should be able to see the board now better. And in fact, okay, I made it too tiny. Other thing we're gonna do here is this so that you can see the clock. Sound is worrying and annoying, but also intense in a good way. Yeah, you and me both. I've struggled with Title Tuesdays in the past because it's 3+1, which is such a weird time control that you don't see anywhere else. And it's like, it's not 3-0. You can't just straight up dirty flag someone. Like, you know, they have 10 seconds left and they're up a ruck, but they're just losing because they have 10 seconds left. But it's also not 3-2. Like, typically, it can it takes like just over 1 second to make a move often. Which that's a huge difference. It's a huge difference because in 3-2 you stay afloat not only and you keep gaining time. In 3-1, that's still negative, and so, you know, I mean that's a massive adjustment. That's a massive adjustment because the time to make a move is right in that range of just over a second very often. It's very, very hard to make moves under that. Yeah, that game against Naroditsky, I'm still thinking about it. Okay, the board's okay now. What's up? What's up? This game we played fast. We had a ton of time. It's actually nice to have a little bit of a break because my heart rate was through the roof on those past couple games. What's up, Chess Base 73? I'm excited. Like, I'm a little nervous about playing such big dogs, but I have absolutely nothing to lose. All the pressure is on them to beat me. I'm not going to stress about every move and spend a ton of time. I'm just going to move. I'm not going to let them just flag me. That would be an easy win. I'm going to make them have to work for their win on the board. That's what I'm resolving to do. And other than that, yeah, I'm just going to play with no stress. I don't care if it's Akaro or anyone. You're gonna have to beat me. Just reached 1900 rating yesterday. Congratulations. Yours is by far my favorite chess channel on YouTube. I've learned a lot. Cheers. Aw. Thank you so much. This break actually, it feels like it's taking forever. No, I mean, that's why I do what I do. Love to hear that. We love to hear that. I think it feels like it's taken forever because my game was quick in round 4, and then also the break is long. Manuel from Mozambique was my good luck charm, and now the mods have purged him. Well, I was the mod that purged him, but he kept pasting the same thing. So he's in a half-hour timeout. Here's my good luck charm. That's actually very funny. I'm sure he can still charm me in his little timeout. I'll be back in half an hour. Okay, here we go. GM Conrad Holt in round 5 of Title Tuesday with both of us on 3.5 out of 4. Good luck. Oh, emote only. D4. Let's go. Oh, let's whip out our new gambit. Yes. Let's go. Oh, we got the gambit glasses ready. He hasn't seen this before. He's like, how did I get into a banco? Okay, E4. This is a line. Knight A4. Oh, wow. Of course he finds the best move over the board. So this bishop D3, it's actually good for white. We're going to have to play this with D6 and E5, if I recall correctly. This is... Yeah, knight takes E4, bishop D3. They were okay, because they're going to grab back this pawn. Plays A3. Now I feel like he's asking me to take this. He's trying to gambit. Do I play A5 here? I just grab this pawn? I'm kind of surprised. No, I'm just going to play a5. I'm not sure that was best. Yeah, okay. Maybe I should have just taken it. But there was a lot of compensation. I mean, he didn't do that by accident. Question now. I would be shocked if he en passant. I'd be so shocked. I would be surprised. Does my bishop come to e7 or g7? An immediate f4 is interesting. I guess knight d7 he would push f5, and that would be bad. So I'm pretty obligated to make this capture. And I'd like to play here g6, unless there's immediate e5. I don't think so, because I have an h5 now that my pawn supports against the queen. So I want bishop g7 and h5. That's kind of what I want, in some order. And then if I can, really, this is actually kind of critical, because if he's able to like achieve e5 or like control the square, then the position's very good for him. But if I can like get this knight here and control that, then the position's very good for me. So I think this was really ambitious. He wanted to play f4 before knight f3. I think he kind of underestimated that g6 now actually supports knight h5. And like the bishop needs to stay on this diagonal, but now it's kind of out of rope. So I could play knight h5. He just goes bishop g5. Okay, knight h5. Might be a little early on it. Bishop g7, I thought there was e5. Here, could I play bishop e7? Ah, you know what? Because he has this knight b6 resource. So I think not. I forgot about this knight b6 resource. I was going to go queen takes, but then there's knight b6 forking here if my queen is not there. So I have to come back to that square then. Okay, I mean, worse things have happened. Okay, let's go now with just like bishop e7. I don't know. Maybe, like I was thinking about like this and this, like targeting this. I have g4 cut off. My knight can come in there. So if castles, then I was thinking like an 8d7 in that case, because then g4, then you've already castled. Alternatively, I could just castle here like a normal person. I probably will do that. So I've got the pawn on f6 to stop e5. And I have ideas of myself just playing f5, right? He's playing h3. Do I put my knight on g3? Is that annoying? Can you drive me out of there easily? Yeah, I think this is interesting. G3. And then following with f5. So as to not lose it. E5 was actually... I don't know why I didn't properly consider this. How did I forget about e5? That was like the one thing I couldn't forget about. Alright, come on, let's just move fast. Bishop f4, did I just, like, really blunder? Bishop f4, this hangs. Oh, I think he had better. I want my bishop on f6, right? Oh, we're gonna be out of squares.
Five, four, three, four. 3, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1, 2. 2, 1.
Oh no. Uh. Oh, that is mate. Or Q4. Oh my god, you didn't see it. Oh, that's mate though. Ah. You give me another chance.
1.
That was mate 1. What a wild ride. Ah, GG. Oh, what a wild game. Okay. Tough one. He knew the absolute best way to play against this. I don't think he knew. I think he came up with it over the board because no one thinks about it if they know. But yes, my spicy A6 to try to trick you into the very good version of the Benko Gambit. Takes, and E6 in this position is actually very nice. So it's a spicy little move order to play A6 and only then C5 and now B5. Whereas the Benko Gambit looks like this, just playing B5. And then here in AC3 is considered to be like a bad line, whereas like B takes A6 is the main line, or like B6 if you want to dodge it, or E3 is another line that makes a little bit more sense, rather than putting the knight off sides a little bit. And after E6 here, F takes E6, the pawn has a lot of space to go with, and D6 loses for some other reasons that I cover in the original video. In the game, he plays E4, which is a very good move, and there's two moves here, E5 and knight A4, both of which I cover in the video. This is like one of the better lines, because, I mean, you have to realize that knight takes E4 is not actually winning a pawn for black, because bishop to D3 hits the knight, and then they recover C5, and that's actually a pretty nice trade for white. So in the game here, I just got to play D6. He plays A3, and the engine's telling me just to take it, and then accept this. But it's actually, it's a pretty good, like, you can see, like, if it's plus 0.3 on a pawn sacrifice like that, with the rook coming across, they have tempos here on my knight, and, like, probably a lot of pressure on E7, because that's kind of, like, the only way I can develop. It might not be the most fun in the world, but, like, okay, I could have played like this. I probably spent too long deciding whether to play like this. I just kind of play A5 to fortify my pawn, which was fine. Bishop D3, E5 taking some space, or else, you know, I don't want to just get completely run over with F4 and E5. So E5 taking some space, they play F4, which, yeah, so, okay, so it takes, and this apparently wasn't actually nearly as genius as I thought. Best was just bishop E7, and if knight F3, okay, to play with, like, bishop to G4, knight to H5, probably get the bishop to F6. Like, I'm just really trying to hold a nice blockade on E5, and I thought putting the bishop on G7 was the way to go, right? Because I here played G6, they play just knight to F3, and yeah, I wanted bishop to G7, and then, like, to drive you away with knight H5. The thing is, like, the bishop stops in here, but I wanted to drive you away. Bishop looks good here now, and then controls the E5 break. I thought this would be nice, rather than on E7 where I didn't feel like it was doing a ton. But it can still come to F6, I think, is the point. So, yeah, I think I overestimated my idea of knight H5, bishop G5, and F6. I kind of liked this, so, like, I deflect you, and I never have to worry about E5. So I thought this was pretty easy to play for black, even though white's still better here. Castles, castles. They play your H3 to prepare G4. And then I go for this very ambitious idea. Yeah, so I could just play knight D7, allow G4. Okay, well, we have the next game. I'll talk about more of that later. Another GM. Another GM. Do it. Yes! I love this line. This is another one of my favorites. Do it. Let me go G5. Okay. That's actually the best move. That's the best move. He realized my secret idea of G5, that the knight and the queen support here. E3. So the line is still with G5. The line is still with G5. And I give this line on my channel after G takes F4 leads to an interesting position. You're going to have to move the knight, and then I will trade on E3. If you don't, yeah, okay, you could do that, but I think it spells trouble for you, sir, after H5. The point is now, if you play h3 to create a square, right? Because right now h4 will trap your bishop. If you play h3 to create a square, I'm going to take it and force f takes g3. That's going to be a very weak pawn on g3 if you have to play f takes g3, because you can't go here in one turn. If you take on e4, I go d4, knight moves somewhere, and then again I trap your bishop here and here. So the knight is really in your face. It makes this very hard to do, to move the h-pawn. I'm going to take it, f takes. That sucks for you. You wanted h takes as a recapture, right? But I pressure the bishop. This is the point in e4. A, support g5. B, I'm pressuring the bishop, not taking the bishop and allowing h takes g3, opening the file and creating a solid pawn chain there, but pressuring the bishop so that I'm ready for h5 to force h3, and before the bishop can run away, I'm going to take it, force f takes with the pawn on h3, and then attack that pawn. Once I attack that pawn, you're going to have to play like king f2 or something to defend it, which sucks. So there is another line on my channel where there is a piece sack white can do here. They don't do it. I'll talk more about this later. Okay, not g4, because I think knight takes e4 is playable. So we take here first. And do I start out with bishop g6? No, let's just start out with simple g4. And now we're going to target here, and we're going to target here, and I'm about to have a lot of fun. So they play knight g1, which makes sense, because they want knight e2 to defend here. They want knight e2 to defend there. What we are going to do then is play c5. Now, I could play f5 as well, but I like this c5 because now we're looking at a lot of targets. We're looking at a lot of targets. So c3 defends this, but I can also just attack this guy twice, can't I, with queen c7 and bishop d6? And force king f2 in that regard. Bishop h6, another idea. Bishop h6, I mean, it's very interesting. Bishop h6 forces like queen e2 and like queen e7. Okay, let's start him off with a simple queen c7. Actually, I'm not sure I loved my move, because knight e2, and then it comes to f4. I think I misevaluated this a little bit. Knight is coming f4, right? Yeah, it just blocks me. I don't know why. I didn't really see that. Okay. We're just gonna go here. Okay, we're gonna keep it simple. CD4, knight b4. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it simple right now. I can't believe I allowed the knight to come there. It's probably not the best. Take. We need to look for like f6 and e5 somehow. Go there. Do you want e4? I could play f5 just locking it all down, but I didn't want to. I want to keep this in tow. Oh, they did want e4, okay. Well, I don't want to let you play e5. It's actually really hard to defend. I gotta take it. No choice there, really. That's not well done on my part.
5, 4, 5,
This.
4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2,
Oh.
3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
No, it's hanging again.
Two, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Finally.
4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4,
Wish it was should have been lost there actually.
4, 5,
Yes.
4, 5.
Oh shoot.
Four, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5.
The knight is tricky. Shoot. There we go. What a wild ride. Oh my god. Okay. What is up, everyone? What is up, everyone? What was the king walk about? Just me trying not to flag. I can't believe I lost both of these pawns. Sorry about that noise.
3, 4.
Ah, man, we should have had him. I mean, come on. Like, what? Like, I know I had no time and only 1 second increment, but, not good. Not good. Okay, we didn't lose, and he really tried to, like, dirty win me there at the end. I mean, how long was this game? How many moves? This game was 120 moves. Okay, we almost had him with this, but, okay, whatever. We'll talk more about this later. Oh, can we get a... Yes, Von Hennig Gambit. Okay, emote only's on. Okay, good. Let's go. Von-handed Gambit on the board. We've still got 4 out of 6 Entitled Tuesday after that draw. Ooh. Okay, I mean, do you have to go knight d5? I think you do. Knight d5 or e6? Can you go here? Maybe not. Yeah, e6. I mean, that's... can't be fun. That can't be fun. Bishop g5, I guess h6 you stay alive with. Cut that off. Bishop g5, h6, take. Because this comes with check is the problem, right? I think, honestly, h6, what I'm going to do is just take an 84. Like, yes, that's an endgame, but it's so good. Yeah, I think this is actually really good. I don't know. I like that I just made a quick decision. I didn't waste time here. When you have so much less time than you think. Okay, yeah, you trade queens, right? Which I didn't want to do. But, look how bad their position is. Do I give this check first? No. I'm going to not give that check first. Okay, so knight d6 will win this, so they probably will castle. Or that's why I was considering whether to give the check first. Okay, yeah, no. Did I want to trade queens? No. But it seems really hard if you're black here. So knight d6, rook f8. We got take. Got some really creative stuff I'm thinking about. I mean, probably completely unnecessary. If I just go rook f3, my concern is like that as a defense. No, it's not even good. Okay, let's go like here, yeah. Oh, wait, did I just blunder this? Oh my god, I was just so stupid. No, oh, this was the worst move I ever played. Oh my god. No, that was so stupid. I should probably take this knight. And take b7 or b8. This was so dumb. d6, rook f8. Can I take b7? b8. Yeah, we're gonna try to do this. Oh, so dumb. Oh, they have f5 here? I didn't even see that. I wanted to take this. I might really tie myself down, but I need something. Yeah, I was gonna have to defend this, right? So, like, rook b3, bishop c8, and bishop... But I could have done so much better than this. Should do that. Could probably just go, right? Not quite.
5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4,
Okay, don't lose immediately.
5,
No, but that was just a really terrible one-move blunder I had before.
4, 3, 2, 3,
I'll just stop that.
2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2. 1, 2. 1.
Shoot. I would just threw the whole game away on Rook F3. Threw the whole game away right here. That was actually really nice. It wanted me to go Rook F1 without castling. I think the point is because I have Queen F3 without this being check, right? So in this position, for example, Queen F3, but if my king's on G1, then this being check changes everything. Because then, like, King H1, okay, they can eat this, and then just trade on F6. But it's not check, and so, okay, I just win. So that's actually, I didn't really do that. I castled instead. This was all correct. This was, everything was correct other than that. This is a great endgame. This is just, like, the worst move you've ever seen. Goes from +4 to -2.2. Minus 2.3. And it's not like a situation where there should be crazy fluctuations like that. Yeah, I mean, this pawn is worth like a piece, and after Rook to F3, not only am I not able to defend it, but I also like did the worst move possible to set up knight takes E5 to be even stronger than it should be. No, just knight D6, pressure's here, Rook F8. Yeah, I was actually looking, I was calculating this. Takes a knight C8. And then the point is, yeah, that I can also take this. Oh, it's actually so nice. Oh, God, I wish I played this. Because Rook G7, this is mate. F4, just come in with this check. Just do anything. Got him tied down. Strong pawn. That would be filthy. But I went here instead. And this knight D7. So, okay, I take this. I feel like I still hung around in the game here way more than I should have. Because he just thought he could just win with this pawn. But not quite. And so then I have some counterplay, a little bit of it anyway. When I start pushing my guys. Right, I was able to eliminate this guy, but he takes this. King D4, yeah. I need to just target this dude directly. Now if like H3 you get lazy with it, the rook's actually stuck here a little bit. Okay, Rook H1, I can come at this, and now we got very serious chances to not lose this game. But I play King D4 thinking that coming to C5 would do something. It doesn't do anything. It's the total wrong direction for the king. H3, check. Okay, comes there. Okay, okay. Tough, tough, tough. That was round 7. Okay, so we've got one more before a break. No, but that was actually... I did everything right. Next time I know... Because G6, yeah, knight E5 right away is actually super important. Because if I delay a turn, then they're able to castle deal with it. But instead, I can hit them now, make them play this awkward move E6 is the only way to defend F7. Because they can't castle for the rook to defend. So now, this is strong. But even stronger if this isn't check. I mean, like, I wasn't exaggerating this. Like, this is so, like... For there to be a fluctuation from +4 to -2.4, like, it better be, you know, like the main rucksack lines of the Bushgas Gambit, where it's like, you know, you're down a rook and it's checkmating or not. Not just like you're in an endgame with compensation for the pawn. I mean, like, +4 to -2.3 is a more than 6-point swing. That's more than just hanging the rook. That's more. That's about as bad as if I went Rook F5. Minus 5.2. Man. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just had no way to defend E5 suddenly. It's just really brutal. Oh, Emon only off. Alright, wait, I'll give you guys a little bit of freedom of speech until the next round. What's up, Abin Mina, Gardner, Aditya, Zephyr, Alfath? Upload more, please. Big fan from Indonesia. You got it. I'm uploading every day on YouTube, so subscribe. I appreciate the support. Sood, Aditya, hello. All right, we're still in here on Title Tuesday. We're still having a pretty good Title Tuesday. I think I have 4 out of 7, okay. Not as good as 3.5 out of 4. But we're still having a pretty good title Tuesday. Still in a good spot here. Oh, okay, next round starting. Alright, we're playing a CM from America. Alright, no more freedom of speech for y'all on Twitch. Emote only. Bush Gas Gambit. In Title Tuesday. Take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. They thinking. Okay, plays this light for the quick d4. Thinking we wouldn't have prep if he did that. Yeah, we can't just allow a quick d4. So this is also covered on my channel. Takes here. They're all moves. I know them all. Interesting gambit. If they rarely do this, but you can take this pawn and then play d4. Of course, that's going to be the engine's top recommendation to try and stay up a pawn. Most people just bail out and play d4 here. And after take, check, it's about equal. I'll get this pawn back in castle. It's like pretty much dead equal. Would be interesting. That's not a good move, actually, because I think I just play e4. I think. Now d4 as a counterpunch doesn't work, because take, I have a tempo on the bishop. So I will capture 2 pieces when you capture 1. Knight doesn't have a great square then. Knight g5, I just play h6. I'll drive you all the way to h3. And then I'll even take it when I feel like it. Knight d4, I'll probably just grab that guy. And then queen d5. Otherwise, you gotta go knight g1. Okay, knight d4 played. Yeah, like I said. I forgot that was possible. But this is... No, wait, I'm not up anything if that happens. Okay, let me think here. Can I go knight c6? dc6? No, I can't. Why did I miss queen a4? So then we gotta block this check somehow. And we're just gonna take back our pawn. Yeah, knight c6, take... That wasn't smart at all. Alright, we're just gonna play it with... Well, c6 takes... Knight c6, okay, that would be good. Okay. Queen d4. I'm just gonna grab it. Yeah, dc6. I don't think so. I'll move the bishop. No, I won't move the bishop because of cb7. But I will play like bishop f2 probably, and then just knight c6. So I think they should just take it like this. And then there, maybe I castle. Give you an opportunity to, like, take a gambit. Queen d4, take knight c6. I'll give you a chance here. d6 is an option as well. I kind of didn't see that as well. Maybe I should have taken it then. d6 could be a good move. I probably need to go here. Yeah, that's what we're going with. e8, castles, or e6. Okay. Don't really have another choice. We've still got, you know, they still got some poor development over there. And again, d3 is hard now. We'll put the bishop. I'll put the rook here, right? I like that I'm up on the clock. What a weird feeling. Imagine. Yeah, rook d6. Without d3, you're lacking development. Okay, so that's why they're playing this move. Do I want queen takes d7? I want whatever stops d3. Knight takes leaves me a pin. Let's play knight takes. Let's keep it interesting. Yeah, I'm in a pin for a second, but I'm just going to play c5 to undo it. Or like queen e7 or something to undo it. So c5 here. Dear queen. Or queen e7. Let's go with c5. Now knight b6, can I like get him? Knight b6, queen c2. I don't think I can get him. But I can make it hard. it kind of annoying to play rook e1? Or does it not really do anything? I think it's kind of annoying. I want to, like... Really? That's actually a good move now. I have to go here. Ugh, block this again. This. Alright, let's just play for time at this point. A little bit tangled. Let's untangle. Bishop c7, I didn't see it. That could have gone so much worse. Yes. No stalemates, because the bishop's on the board. Oh, that's not... I was like... Hurt skip to beat when the game didn't end. That was almost stalemate at the end. We have to be careful here. I went f2. If the bishop is gone, that's stalemate, right? This position. So we have to be careful. I mean, unnecessarily complicated, but takes... Now, I can't... Well, okay, we're good. Because the king's gonna have g2. But okay, check here and mate. Okay. Whew, pulled it out. It's always fun. It really gets your heart racing. Like, what adrenaline it is to do these Title Tuesday blitzouts. I mean, this time I was kind of on the other side of it, where my opponent had a better position entering the blitzout for sure, and I kind of got a little bit lucky. I mean, we can have a brief look here. Okay, I get 2 question marks for going into a Bush-Gas Gambit. What's up? Thank you. All right, well, we're in business again in Title Tuesday as we pull into 5 out of 8 entering the break, and I'll give y'all on Twitch some freedom of speech. So bishop c5, c3 my opponent plays, declining the main Bush-Gas Gambit line, but still this position can't be reached. It's not transposing to anything else. It's only a Bush-Gas Gambit specific theory that we're talking. And the thing about c3 in general is that it's a very, very bad move unless you play d4. And when you don't get in d4, then it just kind of makes it, you're blocking your whole queenside development, right? If you're not moving that pawn, then the bishop is jammed in, you took away the best square for the knight, and you also wasted a move. So that's why we strike here with d5 really quickly to try and make d4 a little complicated. Knight to f6 now is another interesting line. Like, yes, you could play queen takes d5, and you're going to invite d4, and here white's actually just a little bit better, because the knight's probably going to have a tempo on your queen. But that's why we play this nice line knight f6, offering this little gambit variation. People rarely go into this. Most people in this position will move the bishop somewhere and blunder g2. So a fun situation here. Takes is also a bad idea for white. This is all covered on my channel here. Bishop to e2, not a great move. Better to just play d4 and accept this equal position. I'm just going to go check here and grab my pawn back. My opponent goes bishop e2, and now after e4, they don't even have this nice little counterpunch with d4, because I will take with a tempo on the bishop, so then this is me being up a piece. So that forces them to play knight d4, and what I should have done is castled, and then only after castles, then gone into this position where I'm going to probably grab this pawn fairly cleanly and be up it, but they'll have some compensation here by sacrificing the pawn back. And here you see they free their pieces a little bit, and they have a bishop pair in an open position in exchange for that pawn. But okay, I mean, that would still be good for me. I take way too early, missing that my king is uncastled, and they have this nice move queen a4 check, and after c6 to play queen takes d4. And okay, here then I get very cute with castles, and I give them this nice little option d6, although it doesn't really change the evaluation much. Yeah, it would have been just as fine for them to go castles, but now after c takes d5, this is what I was going for, where, okay, now maybe d3 is a little hard to achieve, knight c6 comes with tempo, and I have a nice little center here where they lack a little bit of development. Okay, not the end of the world for white in any case. d6 makes the position a little spicy, so rook e8, and I take a convoluted path to grabbing my pawn back. Fortunately, they can't achieve bishop f4 in time, because d3, you're not going to want to do that to your king. Yeah, this is going to end very badly, like c5. Okay, the queen needs to kind of stay tethered somehow to this pawn on d3, but then, okay, it can lose its tethering, and after e takes d3, okay, you could lose because your king is in the middle and you get pinned. So, you're not going to want to do that. So they castle, and I just go rook e6. d7, yeah, it gets a little too cute. Knight takes d7, and so I have some nice development here, or I should. I mean, I end up, in the game, I end up struggling to bring these pieces out, which wasn't great after queen to a4. Yeah, I probably should have proceeded with something simple, like just trade here, knight to e5. You don't even have bishop f5, because rook a6 hits the queen, and the bishop will hang on the other end. So, oh, okay, you could do that here, rook a6. Okay, yeah, I mean, you can defend it, trade, and then, okay, like after queen d5 here, black has a little bit of extra development. Randomly, we're attacking a2 somehow, or in some line, maybe. But, okay, here, this is just a little bit of a development advantage for black, and I should have played like this. Instead, I play this queen e7 move, which doesn't really have any purpose or threat, other than the fact that, like, okay, you can't take here now, because there's too many hits on e2. But there's not really, like, a huge purpose to it, so it wasn't the best move. Then they just come back, queen c2. Okay, I trade now. Rook to e1, yeah, was way too cute. You can see they managed to swing from about minus 0.5 to about plus 0.5. I just should have gone 85. I was, like, a little annoyed by bishop f5, but it's really not a big deal. Like, the rook just comes anywhere, and if we trade on c8, I end up actually bringing out these pieces for a change, or if we trade on f5, I still end up bringing out these pieces for a change, so that would have been a good idea. I play, like, rook e1. It doesn't cause any inconvenience to them. Literally any development move you were going to play is fine. It doesn't do anything. You don't have to take my rook. So, bishop to f4 played. I trade on f1, which I also didn't love. Okay, king takes f1 was a little weird. Knight to e5 hitting them, which also was kind of another blunder as we start to get into time trouble, both of us. 20 seconds apiece. Queen e2 pinning me, so I have to play knight d7, this awkward move to defend this knight. Because, like, okay, my queen is hanging, I can't just go anywhere. I could go here, but then, yeah, the problem was trade. This is what I didn't want. I would lose this pawn. So, in the game, knight f7, so queen e4 threatens mate on h7, so I have to cover that a little awkwardly now, and you can see, like, this is not the way I want to enter the endgame. Their bishop pair is actually looking really nice. My development is looking really not nice. I don't know how we got here from this position, where I should have a big development advantage, to this position now entering the queen trade, where they have the big development advantage, because I didn't get these, because I didn't, like, move these pieces, right? It wasn't good. I moved the pieces that were already out. So I violated my own rules, certainly. Bishop to d6 starts to cause me some problems. Knight to c6, so now my knight is here guarding this. They kind of start to develop. b6, bishop e4. This wasn't even the best way to keep pressure. Rook e1 kind of threatening here. Bishop e7, bishop e5. Again, it kind of gets hard to move your pieces out a little bit. Okay, anyway, bishop e4, bishop e7. We're hanging on here. Just moving around. Knight a5. Take. Bishop just moves out of the way. So okay, we kind of clear most of the problems. Although f6. I wanted to bring my king in, but that wasn't the best. I just should have... yeah, brought my knight to a solid square, it seems. f6, rook d1 hit my knight. Rook d8 was a huge blunder because we both missed it. I think I pointed this out during the game, but yeah, bishop c7 just makes this hang. Even here, this just defends. So this, I should have lost after bishop c7. We both missed it. They play knight b5, which is still a very good move. Again, I should lose. a7's hanging. I play your a6, and again, bishop c7 is missed. It's missed. Here, although in this, it's still extremely good. It's still extremely good. And in fact, the knight is so poorly placed, it's like bordering on trapped, right? So, in the game, knight c7 played attacking a6. Somehow we get away with this trading rooks. Knight's defending there. This knight moves, attacking here. They get a little cute with knight takes b6. Just bishop c7 was fine, and picking up b6 the normal way, and the king should cruise in here, and like the c5 pawn should die as well. We get away with this though, because they take here and bishop c7, thinking that wins the pawn, but it gives me a chance to actually grab one myself. And then I'm able to play c4, which, okay, I should have lost concretely. Probably because the king should just get to d4, tie my knight down to c4 very awkwardly, and then they should make my knight move. But that doesn't happen. They bring the bishop around, so I get king f7 with tempo, I then tie their king down to d2. Before they can go king e3 to get king d4, I tie their king down to d2. Oh, but they don't even do it. They play bishop b4. And now my king gets to d5. So they're not able to get to d4. My king gets here. Now their bishop is tied down to c3. So step 1 is completed. Step 2 is putting my pawns on light squares, so I can't get attacked by that color pawn. I actually missed a golden opportunity to trade this for this, and then, yeah, oh, and this, and they'll just have 2 awesome passed pawns. Okay, didn't even see it. Whatever. I was focused on getting these pawns on light squares. Okay, they're tied down here. If they want to go that way, then they give me another entrance. So what are we going to do now? We're tied them down a little bit, but how do we make some progress? And something I want to do is just kind of advance this pawn in general while I have them tied down. So I bring it all the way to a4. That's a light square. Again, I'm not letting it hang out on a dark square where it can be taken by the bishop. Come all the way in king c2, and now it's time to look. You came way too far this way. Kind of baited you. Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk more about that later. All right. Next game. Emote only. It is round 9 of Titled Tuesday. We have 5 out of 8 playing an FM from World. I know what that means. Okay. They play this line. Bishop b5 is a move. I like this bishop c4 line, though. Let's move d4. It is a temporary gambit. Knight takes is a bad move. After bishop e3, the gambit is too strong. cd4 is the main line, and we're just going to recoup our pawn on the d4 square here. Okay, trade again. White here has a pleasant position. They want to trade again. Can I? No, I don't have knight b5. There's queen b6 check, right? I guess that's why they did this right now. Let's go bishop e3. Queen b6. I have knight f5 defending this for a second, and then I would take g7. So they don't want to do that. Otherwise, an idea I have here is maybe take and bishop d4. They play with just e5 directly. Okay, let me think about this. I've got a few options here. If I take knight takes e5, that's exactly what they want. They get a nice knight there. If I don't take c6 and just pull back, they take here, and then they're still going to put a knight on e5, which is what they want. Not that that's the end of the world. If I take c6, then this isn't as weak. It's probably good. Like, okay, take... I think this is a good line, so let's go takes. And I like this take e5 line, because their problem is takes... Okay, I trade queens, and then I hit f7 if the rook is gone. Otherwise, bishop e5. I wanted bishop h6, but now I'm actually realizing that they have queen h4, and I didn't see it. I thought bishop h6 makes the rook move, and then this loses. But bishop h6, they have queen h4, and I didn't see that at all. So, and then I lose h2, right? So by that logic, I need, like, bishop d4, bishop f4. Let's go bishop f4. I'm not sure it was worth thinking about too much. Yeah, the bishop is very good here, then. This kind of was my takeaway. I could have just played, like, h3 to stop that, but then there's bishop e6. I mean, I could have. This bishop a6, did I invite this now? Takes a one. Okay, they just go for this, which I thought, that surprised me a little bit. I thought they had better. Maybe not. Okay, queen e7. Do I just want, like, queen d4, queen d2? So they're just going to go bishop e6 next turn. And we're just going to trade stuff, right? I don't think there's too much more to it. Let's just go queen d2. Or d1. Yeah, I mean, and then they just play rook d8. And we're going to have to figure out a way through. I went for this, but I missed that queen h4 resource of hitting here and here. It's fine. At least I saw it before it was too late. I need this rook to be more useful. It needs to come across, but I can't lose e4 at the same time. So it's kind of this weird balancing act. This is a good idea. Do I want to trade? No. Let's go queen c3. Let's queen c3, then I give them something else to worry about other than just this pawn. A, b3. Okay, that's playable. If I go rook f3 and they take e4, and then I take... No, I can't do that. So, what then? We just trade everything? Maybe. I mean, the structure is better for me. Okay, fine. Well, if I take, rook f3, rook d1... No, I gotta come back. But okay, I actually like this a little bit because of... This is actually what I wanted. Wait. They can trade rook d2. King e3. King f3, rook c2, rook c7. No, I need to come back to f1 actually.
4, 3, 2.
Not brilliantly done by William. They can just take b2 and b3, and then we're gonna have to defend this position for a draw. Oh, in fact, it's worse than I thought because they have rook b4 at the end.
2,
oh, they didn't even
3.
see it. The king f6 was a mistake on their part.
2, 3.
Oh, they messed
2,
that up.
3. 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
No, I just got mated.
3.
Ah, that was terrible. That was It's one thing when you lose a game and your opponent plays better than you, but I just beat myself there. Just trying to find a way through, and I just didn't, and then I just forced it. And then they didn't even have good technique. What happened here? This should be nice. This was a mistake. I knew that. And somehow it ate at me. No, best was just f5. I thought it would give them like some resource, some chance to play d5 at some moment, but they don't have said chance. Like, for example, if they go for this... Yeah. Like, they have this nice center, but then I have more problems on the... I can create more problems over here. So, okay, in the game I took, because I thought I had bishop h6 in this position, but okay, it would be a huge blunder with both of these hanging. I would thought, like, the rook has to move, and then I take here. Here is my point. But okay, so it's just equal after this, and then I try to force it a little bit. Queen e5, okay, it's just this endgame. You know, the rook is hanging, so I can't take c6. And this should be very equal. Rook a1 already starts to be very ambitious here. Better I should just trade. And then just, like, we take some pawns each, and it just gets to a draw. But... here, yeah, it doesn't work because of this resource. They trade and check, and then these all start to crumble. This was, yeah, not a good move, as I said. Or just for takes b2, I thought was fine. Okay, but then I mean, okay, I understand why they don't want to do it. King f6, b4. This gave me a chance again, but I started playing very passively just to defend this. But I can't play so passively with my king here also, because the king comes e3. Create serious problems. Should play rook c7. Try to hit some of their pawns. I played rook c4. And okay, here I just didn't want to flag, so I played rook c5. Like, I just let them take this hole instead of even like taking here and trying to fight. I mean, not so obvious that I'm losing here because it's still rook 3 versus rook 3. But okay, I mean, this is a little awkward for me, and you know, their pawn, rook, and king is a little better than my pawn, rook, and king. Okay, so this is just a disaster. And yeah, I got myself checkmated. I think it's lost here anyway. Like here, okay, I don't get mated, but then the king just, yeah, the pawn just rolls. There's nothing I can do. That even shields some checks. Okay, oh well. Oh, wow. Only off. Megalodon plus 350 is on a 3 streams watch streak. Nice, nice, nice. What is up, everyone? Okay, okay. We've got some fun games to analyze after Turtle Tuesday is done here. We certainly do. Oh. Kind of thought. Okay, let's play Bushcast again, but I thought we were on a break. Okay, wait, we need to put emote only back on. Sorry. Ooh, Bushcast accept. No. Brutal. Take my pawn. Take my pawn. This is... Wow. Talk about not wanting a pawn. If I play with, like, G5 and D5... No, it's not a good idea. Okay, let's just play D6. At this point, I have to protect it. Because I'm not going to have D5 anymore. Alright. The next thing we're going to try is our little schmancy maneuver of knight coming to F8, G6. That's why I moved my rook from here. This is the best antidote to this pin, is if you play H6 and then just completely run that bad boy out of rope. There is no I3 on the chessboard for you to go right there. Okay, you're just going to leave it here. Well, what if I take it and take E4? But that's why you put the rook there. So, take. But take, I probably just go to H5. Yeah, okay. No, you're not just going to stay there. I mean, I understand the logic here that you didn't... Oh, wait, I don't have an H5. Why did I think I had an H5? Oh, I have an H4. That's actually a fun move. Yeah, I totally saw this the whole time, obviously. What's happening after Queen F3? I think we're good. Yeah, I mean, I need to watch out for this just as much as they need to watch out for this. Both our rooks are now not defending our F-pawns. But knight G4, so it hits the knight and F2, so it seems pretty forcing to me. You got to take it. But then after queen takes H4, that actually looks really nice because I hit F2 and G4. Bishops are each hitting one of those, right? So, yeah. These are hanging. Seems pretty tough. I understand their logic, but I think they had to move the bishop away, but then I was going to play knight H5. I mean, we can look at that more after. But it's actually a really nice idea. Bring the knight all the way here. Really schmancy Karpovian maneuver. Not as schmancy as the word I just used. Yeah, queen F3, bishop takes G4. Well, no, I would say you're trapped, but you have one square you can go to, and it's here. Even then, if I play king H7, you might be losing. Knight F3 in that position? Okay, they go for D4. So if I take it, then knight F3, as I understand it. If I take right now, then F3, ED4, that's the line I want. Yes. It would be smart. Ah. Knight there. Okay, wait. I might have just messed up. Okay, I have to take this knight because my bishop's hanging. But then this is also hanging. Shoot. Okay. They just recapture even. Okay. But yeah, they're going to take on F7. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. 3-6, 3-5. Okay. Could be worse. Not great. Could be worse. But the bishop is actually doing some annoying things. Should I play C5? I think I should. I want the rook on the F line. queen e7 because I want that, like I just said. Did f2. And this is also hanging, right? Now that I defended d6. So you actually got a couple things to deal with. Rook e2, let's say. Do I have d5? No. Oh, okay. Wait, now I'm up a pawn. I sort of wanted that, because I wanted to provoke that weakness. 64. Queen d4, I wanted this. Otherwise I want this or something. e5 rook b6. That I'm playing with fire now. I should have just gone queen c6 and just attacked this like a normal person. Now after e5, it's interesting. Yeah, I can't imagine what they were thinking about there. Okay, wait. Let's hang on to this. But does this go? Queen c1, queen f8. Let's do something. Checks. Something. Rook c1 is what I want. Rook c1, rook h1. I don't think they saw that. Go. b6. Oh, I'm so smart. I'm so smart. Rook e2 is not there. Oh, baby. Let's go. Here we go. Oh, we're pulling them out sometimes. We're pulling them out sometimes. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Interesting battle. Interesting battle. Okay, we disable emote only. Let's start that review. So e4, e5. R3, bishop to c5. So we offer here this pawn, right? So knight to f6. We offer this pawn so many times. We offer this pawn so many times. Okay, first time we offer it was this position, which is just the main line of the accepted Bush-Gas gambit here in ac6. Okay, and takes here is an option. c3 is an option, gives us queen h4 and lots of fun lines attacking here and here. Or knight f6, knight g4, playing f5, open everything up. So the rooks can streak down. Lots of fun with the bishop scoping on f2. Stafford-esque, but even a little bit different. Bishop c4, knight f6. This is an even spicier line of the Bush-Gas gambit where we play knight c6. Traxler-esque situation, offering the pawn here and here. These lines are all covered on my channel, where we play bishop takes f2 check and have lots and lots of fun. Didn't go for that either. Didn't want that either. Said d3, no, I'm just going to hold this pawn, and I want you to play, just transpose into a chill Joko Pinissimo, where white has the tiniest of edges. So d3, I castled, and I'm like, okay, well, now you can take this, or here, now you can take this pawn, and again, it's good for you. I've covered this on my channel a couple times. I was recommended this by a viewer. We give this e-pawn, again, you're castled this time, so what bad thing can happen to you, possibly? The point is, like, we're going to start looking for, like, after queen d6, we start looking at h2, right? So the rook is now on f1, covering f2, so we start looking at h2, and here, like, yes is good for white. according to the engine. But okay, they're lacking development. Queen's coming to d6, knight's coming to g4, or queen comes to h4, and we still have like a lot of fun here attacking. Pawn here is actually very well set up against their only developed piece to keep it completely out of the game. In the game, they didn't want that either, so they play bishop to g5, and we say because that actually stops my other idea of d5, right? Like if you keep doing nothing here, if you keep doing nothing, now I'm going to play d5 in your face, and you'll have to take it because at this point, like unless you defended e4 last turn, here I'm kind of just picking up a pawn. So you'll have to take it and then hand me a nice center. If you defended e4 last turn, then okay, I probably have to play d6 here. But bishop g5, okay, d6, area h6, and now d6, I'm happy to play it, because here I have the very slick maneuver. So h6, we force you to h4, and then to get out of the pins are otherwise really annoying, because like to get out of it typically then allows here, and g takes f6, which can open onto your king, or you gotta play g5 or something like that, which could be very doable in a very closed position. Very closed position, hard to get to the king, because all these are still on the board. But white still is like the idea to play maybe d4 at some moment. So here they're just kind of playing bishop b3, getting out of the way of some strikes. Now here I start my maneuver. They develop, I maneuver, and here the knight comes to g6. So we have almost the exact same sort of position. The differences in our position here is really like my bishop's not on h5. My bishop is here, safe and sound. And after knight g6, what I want to happen is, okay, bishop g3, that's the best move. I'm going to play knight to h5. Let's say you kind of don't really do anything. Oh, well, actually, this bishop is hanging. Knight takes g3 with the pin on the f2 pawn, so let's say you save it. Now I'm just going to, like, try to pour in on the f4 square, and combined with these two pieces, okay, there's no g3, I have pressure here. Okay, next game. Talk more about that later. Oh my god, it's Andrew Tang in Title Tuesday. Let's go. We've had a hell of a Title Tuesday. All right, emote only on. We've got a French. We got an Alpin Gambit against the Penguin. Let's go. Alpin Gambit. Gambit glasses on. Knight to f6. Let's see if he knows the very, very rare and not obvious idea that the knight's actually not under attack. Oh, wait, you're just going to lose a piece. You're just going to lose a piece. A lot of great players have fallen into this, but no offense, he might be the best one. You just lost a piece here in the Alpin. The bishops are located perfectly. There's no queen to e4 check. And otherwise, this bishop breaks up this pin. And delivers a counter pin. I'm just going to play bishop takes g3. Bishop to d6 you can play to try to force h takes and losing the rook. But otherwise, bishop to d6, I just play queen to f3. And I'm going to take it and win. We're just going to be up a piece. Queen f3 or an 82. How beautiful is that? He played it very quickly. He played it very quickly. It looked really good, but the bishops had it covered. I know my Alpin Gambit. Bishop to d6. Yeah, we just need to play something like queen f3. 82 is also doable. Castling will make things much worse. H takes g3, defending the rook and pressuring h7. Okay, knight d7 played, and we take our Gambit glasses off, owing to our extra piece. Do I want it? Probably not. I mean, also, like, to make matters worse, you're going to have to go this way, because the pressure on the H-line seems pretty brutal to me. Let's just castle. C6, probably. So there's no D5 or knight here, or that you can at least play bishop D... Okay, so he wants me to take it so that he can castle, and then play rook b8 and have some counterplay. There's no real reason to give that to him. Actually, it's fine. I think we want to take it, right? Matt Bader super chatted $20. Thank you so much. How sweet is that? How sweet. Thank you so much. And bishop e3. I mean, I could have also just played some move like knight e2. But okay, we're looking at this sacrifice. Knight h7 played. Do I take it? Do I just go like queen e4 here? Knight e4. Yeah, this seems like a good idea. bf5 he wants to play. Could have also taken that piece. Bishop c6, I have that check if I want it. Knight e2, let's play. Gotta watch out, but I think bishop a3, it just does nothing. Take, and I can go king d2 even. Otherwise, I mean, probably. Take. Did I mess something up here badly? Oh, it's bishop e8. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, you're kidding me. What have I done?
5, 4,
No,
5,
so
4,
You're kidding.
5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5.
Oh my god, I had checked on winning the rook.
4, 3, 4,
Still have
5,
it.
4, 5, 4, 5, 4,
Thought I had bishop e5 there.
3.
Oh my god, I made one. Ah!
2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 4.
I could not have possibly missed more opportunities to win that game. I had checkmate and won. Instead, I hung my rook.
5.
Here, also, checkmate and won. I had 2 checkmate and ones. Even after losing the game completely. Oh. Oh. That hurts. That hurts my soul. Damn. This is such a good gambit too. Like if he just goes knight f6, and then we have like this really nice idea here of just attacking. Queen comes to h4, pressure on this knight, pressure on this pawn, and I really like that. He goes here. Oh my god, this could not have been gift wrapped to me better on a silver platter. We just take this knight here. I mean, he thought he takes g3 and wins the rook. How brutal is this? HG3, queen e7. We're going to blunder 2 mate and 1s in this game. take b7, force him to castle short. This is all really, really nice. This was a little much. So bishop c6 comes. I mean, because like check here to take this. I mean, I also could have done this, but it wasn't like the most pretty because there's like rook b6 on the other end, and everything was fine. I was up a very clean piece. Queen h5, f5. I invite. Here it was just so dumb because it looks really nice because if f takes e4, I have rook takes h6, which is the only thing I was looking at. Threatening mate on h7, and if the knight moves, then I come here and mate. But, okay, there's bishop e8, which traps my queen. And so then I just should be completely losing. I have just 2 pieces. And, okay, I give another piece here. I somehow open this up a little bit. I fork him here. And then, like, even if I go check and takes here, I mean, I should still be losing. Just because of these pawns, I guess. I go c4, though. And now here I have checkmate. First I had mate in 1. And I take the rook really... Oops. So the first main one I had here, but I take the rook really quickly. I'm like, wow, I had queen c6. So I go bishop g5. And then I'm like, oh, wow. I thought I had bishop to b5. So... so Title Tuesday is over. We had 6 out of 11. But it was a really good 6 out of 11. And it could have been better. Hans wins with 10. So, oh my god, I missed rook d8 here. And I thought I had bishop to b5, so I just played b3. And okay, here I don't think I had another opportunity, but we were both so low on time. He's just checking around. Yeah, not good. And I get myself mated finally. Well, he's in like a little bit of a mating net as well. Like, let's say I were to come to bishop d5 check and then a5, because almost be checkmate or something like this. Okay. Tough one. GG. Somehow, I feel like he pulls those out all the time, and it's certainly not luck if it happens to him all the time. It's certainly not luck at that point. Let's review. So, shout out to him for a crazy, crazy game. Let's turn emote only off here. Let's review a couple of our games. Let's review a couple of our games here, and in particular... So, wow. Quite the Title Tuesday. An up and down one for sure. Oops. The one I want to look at right now is the Naroditsky game. And afterwards, we've got a couple other GM victories to have ourselves to look at. So because here's another great streamer, an extremely strong player, that I also had him. This one ended in a draw. But I also had him. Let's have ourselves a little look. So... where did I leave off analyzing this last time? I think we were... whatever. Let's take it from the top. Let's just take it from the top. Okay, so he plays d4. I play knight to f6. He plays knight to c3. Right, so a Jobava London here. Most lines go with d5 to stop e4. But, okay, he's going to play like bishop to f4 in that position. Actually, let me... while we analyze, let's just make it analysis sized. So what I'm going to do here is we're just going to make this bigger. We're going to move this all the way over. This. Sure, I'll let you all see the best moves here. Okay. Alright, let's have a look. So, he tried to play Jobava London here, playing bishop to f4 in this position. Let's actually start again. So, d4, knight f6 is my game against Daniel Naroditsky. He plays knight to c3, trying to play a Jobava London. So he's threatening e4 here, so most lines go with d5 here, and after bishop to f4, there's a lot of ways white can set up, often with a quick long castles, as they're set up to do. Instead, I play e6, allowing him to play e4 and transposing directly to a French, right? So a French, you can imagine, would start with like e4, e6, d4, d5. This is like a French setup here, knight c3, knight f6. The exact position we have in the game, just transposed a little. And what I'm looking for is exactly what I got, which is my spicy gambit. It's not mine. It's the McCutcheon Gambit from Chessmood. I have a video breaking down all the theory here. Let me talk a little bit about the theory here if they just actually take this extra pawn. A little bit after, but it's actually really, really fun. But I'll point you to that after what to do there, because you'll see the engine very strongly recommending white to grab this pawn. And, you know, there's a reason he didn't, though. There's a reason he didn't. Here, though, there's not a good option for white other than doing that, because, like, bishop h4, if you try to maintain the pin, I'm just going to actually be up probably a pretty clean pawn in this line if you don't take this. So takes, white here plays a3, just keeping my bishop out of the b4 square, and he plays this instantly. You can see he's thought a little bit to this point, or he spotted me 34 seconds before he made his first move. Probably not realizing the game had started, but now he's keeping my bishop out of b4. And so here I play just, like, kind of a quick little principled decision, which is d takes e4. The reason is, like, let's say I just play, like, c6 defending my pawn, and, like, he goes for, like, e5, queen d8. The French structure, he's got pawns on dark squares, which means his dark square bishop would be not so great, but he's managed to trade off that dark square bishop. You know, not that that's necessarily a trade he wants, but it's not so bad of a trade. And I'm stuck with this light square bishop, which in the French can be jammed in by pawns of your own color pretty badly, because you lack space, and also because all your pawns are on light squares, you know, so the bishop doesn't have any options. So with the bishop pair, I want an open position, and so I go for d takes e4, even though that has a tempo on my queen. I have some interesting options with my queen. I was talking about this during the game. I have, like, say, queen g6 hitting the knight, but knight g3 shields g2, and so next turn, probably bishop to d3, and white here is doing pretty nicely, tempoing my queen. So I just get her all the way out of the way, back to d8. Knight to f3 played, bishop to e7. So what I was talking about, I want the, now, because I traded these two pawns before he had a chance to play e5, I do have this nice diagonal now for a bishop that would otherwise be very bad. The problem is, actually, so something like knight e5 comes, and then I think, yeah, we got, oh, wow. We got lots of problems here. f7 gets hit, and then there's, like, okay, knight to f6 check, queen takes b7. After that, with my rook hanging, bishop to b5 can come as well. So, you know, I'm too far from castling here to start making other weaknesses before I have a chance to fill them in. So, much better to start as I did with bishop to e7 first. He plays bishop to d3, completing his development. Now I play b6, queen to e2, bishop to b7, and long castle. So everything he does here is right. And now I'm playing knight to d7. And so, okay, both of us kind of finish our development. He has a very nice long castle here with his rook pointing onto my queen, which is very smart, because another move I wanted to make was c5 to strike at the center a little bit, and it's not something I'm going to do in this position now. After, say, takes, bishop to b5 check, for example, would win my queen with the rook just pointing right there. So all of his pieces look here quite nice. And yes, I have a bishop pair, but it's not like I'm doing a ton, and the rooks are coming to e1. He's got a lot of other ideas in this position. So he jumps in now, knight to e5. And what he wants to follow knight to e5 with, like, let's say a castle, which is the engine's recommendation here, but is f4, and really solidifying this knight here. And now, especially with this pawn on h6, it looks a little dangerous, because g4, g5 can make a hook to trade. Like, here, let me show you what I mean. So, like, let's say these trade off, like, something like this or whatever, like, takes, or even here, like, rook g1. This rook can come to h3, and then queen to h5 can just checkmate me, or the rooks will stack on the g line, pressure g7. So this can be very dangerous. Opposite side castles, you're going to want to attack the king, right? Because if his king were over there, then he wouldn't be pushing g4, g5. That would make his king more unsafe than it would make mine. But, you know, his king's going to be safe and sound over here, and he's going to cause a lot of action this way. And what h6 does is it presents a hook for him to trade off pawns, right? So g5 can come, and if it were flat, it might not really do anything. Like, yes, he can still create, like, a lot of threats here owing to his piece activity. Like, the queen and bishop could coordinate on h7 potentially. But it presents a hook to trade off pawns. The point of pushing pawns would be to trade pawns, right? It's going to force a trade of pawns now, because my pawn's on h6 rather than flat on h7. And with a trade of pawns, not only do I lose a defender, but they lose a pawn that would otherwise block their rooks. So, like, the rooks can come to g1 and g3, you know, after trading this pawn, and really just kill me on g7 or kill me on the h line. So that's potentially dangerous, and why I didn't want to castle short here. But I also can't really just take e5, because after d takes e5, then I'm dealing with all sorts of problems. Again, yeah, I have to castle short. Like, the queen, where's the queen going such that you're not going to lose the bishop to b5 check when losing your queen there. So I was a little wary about castling short. I felt his attack was going to be much stronger than mine. It's hard to say how I cause a problem so quick over there. So that's why I played this move a6, trying to be a little creative here. He plays rook to e1. Yeah, best was f4, so that he can recapture with the f pawn. If you can recapture with the f pawn, then, you know, you've got pressure here. So, like, for example, queen d7, you can play rook f1, hitting f7 and maybe making it hard for me to castle long without losing this f7 pawn. So that's pretty nasty. And I still can't take on d4 because of bishop to b5 check, winning my queen. So a6 I play, though, I mean, it holds off, like, the immediate threat. Like, if I actually do nothing in this position, then bishop to b5 just wins the game owing to the pin here, and I don't even have c6 because these are controlling c6. So I have to do something. So a6, like, yes, it's defended here, even though that's actually how I want to castle with this rook. So that's kind of a situation where, like, he's using his development advantage very effectively. Like, yes, I have this bishop pair. Like, I have a bishop for a knight here, But, I have a lot of complications that go with it. Okay, he didn't play f4. He just plays the very natural rook e1, which is, a very logical move to play quickly in blitz. That's your worst piece. Now you've brought it to the center. But here I'm able to get away with actually a pretty clever idea, which is takes. And now I make that rook look not so smart. It's now staring at its own pawn. And queen to d5. So queen to d5, I get away with this because there's no bishop to b5 check here. Queen takes b5. Shout out to my pawn that's now on a6, preventing my queen from being lost. So queen to d5 works out well. He plays f4. In the game, I remarked that I missed queen to a2. So f4 to defend e5. But it was a bad choice because of c4, and maybe I lose my queen. So let's say I castle long here. Knight to c3. If I go... So it hits my queen. So c4 means there's no escape. So this is kind of a call an ambulance, but not for me sort of moment. I'm like, queen a2, yeah, this is really dangerous. I'm going to go check, and I'm going to take b2. You're in trouble. And he says, no, you're locked in here with me. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. C4 literally almost has no other purpose other than to be like, no, you're locked in here. Stay in there. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. So being like, no, you're not getting out. It also has the other purpose of, okay, you're defending b2. King to c2, defending this pawn. Queen a2, knight c3, and now I'm trapped, right? So I can't just go for that. If I castle, yeah, knight c3, same idea. Queen a1, king c2, I'm trapped again. If I go queen b3, bishop c2, I'm trapped again. Trade doesn't change anything. I'm trapped. So I have this piece sacrifice. So basically the queen needs help, needs some friends to like, if you're locked in a room of battle and someone's gonna die, they've got a lot of hired guns here. She needs some help. Bishop takes a3 provides like a little bit of help, at least to get the queen out of there. But white here is totally fine. White here is totally fine. So c4 played by Mr. Naroditsky. No, c4 not played by Mr. Naroditsky. I didn't go queen a2. And it was kind of a lucky coincidence that I didn't. In the game, I play queen to a5. And I do, like, it makes a lot of sense. It's literally the best move now that's thinking about it. It gave me a mistake, but it's literally the best move. Yeah, I'm trying to castle, but this is hanging, right? So my rook needed to be here to guard a6. I would just be losing this pawn straight up. So queen a5 makes a lot of sense. I managed to trade on e5, not get killed on f7, and I got the queen out of the d line. Right, so everything here is actually pretty good. And also I got the queen to a5, which is an actively useful square, because it guards a6, potentially gets me to castle, and I'd have my precious bishop pair. Last chance for him was queen to h5 to make it hard for me to castle, pressuring f7. And if g6, then... Oh, what is going on here? A filthy, crazy sequence here of knight to f6 check. Okay, you can be very forgiven for missing this. So can I. Takes g6. Attacking f7 if the bishop moves. Takes... Queen takes, and then he's just eating everything. He's just eating everything. Here, takes. Rook's gonna pour in. Rook's hanging. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow, what a line. So g6 can't be played. Crazy stuff. Okay, he just plays queen to f3, which makes sense because you're trying to go like knight to f6 check and queen takes b7, but the bishop is in the way of the rook here. All right, and could you play here bishop c4 trying to make it hard for me to castle? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'm probably gonna play here, yeah, rook d8. To make that trade, and then it starts to look more and more okay for me to castle here as the firepower has started to diminish on that part of the board. Because I won't be able to castle with that rook again. Okay, in the game, queen to f3, but castles, and I'm fine. My king defends the bishop, so any knight check here, I can just take it and not lose the bishop. So things are looking good for William here, down 49-31 on the clock against Daniel Naroditsky. He plays here just the simple, solid king to b1, which makes a ton of sense when you're not sure what to do, and bishop takes a3 could be on the table. Right? Like, what I would need for this to work, and the engine's just saying draw, what I would need for it to work, like, let's say you didn't do it, actually, would it work? Maybe. I think not, because of king d2. Yeah, king d2 is needed to run in that direction. But if you went king b1, then yeah, the rook here comes to b4, like, that's or c3 to stop it, and the rook comes to a4, that's really serious. That's really serious, and here, I can make it hard for you to just kind of run away, bishop can join the fray, yeah. So that's a very serious idea. He plays king to b1 to prepare for that. So now this wouldn't be check anymore, and he can bring in some sort of defensive resource here. I don't even know. c3? It's saying? I mean, it just hands me a draw. So it was actually an interesting idea to just go for. I didn't. I'm just playing like rook d7, which is a very logical move. Just rook d7, just bringing all our pieces into the game onto that open d line. And here, yeah, this is already nice for black. I have kind of dodged all the bullets here. I sort of said before that statically the position was good for me if I could maintain the bishop pair and just get out of the woods, and I have. My king is castled, everybody's safe, my pieces are good, and yeah, my bishop here is operating well, and this bishop is also operating well because potentially there are sacrifices on a3. So he plays here g4, looking for some idea of f5, and already, wow, bishop takes a3 is now working. I don't know what just changed so dramatically that it's now so good. It's now so good. Oh, because I can bring this other rook to d8, and so c3 resource is taken off the table. And because of that, what's my threat here? Well, because of that, it's hard to, like, move... Oh, it's hard to, like, bring the queen across to b2, which is your best defensive resource. To bring the queen across to b2, because the bishop will hang here, now that I have 2 rooks here. So rook d7 was actually a very useful move. Plotting bishop takes a3. I don't do it, though. I just play the next best move, which is rook to d8, which is very logical. Just bring that in as well. We're at 21 seconds apiece. And he plays queen g3, sidestepping the pin, and he's still focused on probably, like, his idea here of f5. He's played g4, like, he's just trying to have some idea of f5, and I play rook d4, which is, again, the second best move, and again, the best move is bishop takes a3. I was saying this during the game. I don't have to trust him. I don't have to trust him. Takes, queen takes a3. The rook is coming across here. This is super-duper strong stuff. This is super-duper strong stuff. Yeah, any bishop move right now becomes very difficult because rook takes d1 is going to happen. I'm just going to win that. So bishop e2, yeah, at minimum, I'm actually winning that knight. I'm winning that knight, so, like, let's say the knight tried to come to b3. Oh, but then I have this sacrifice, which I missed. Takes, rook takes d3. Well, you know it's bad when the best move is rook g1. What if you just save your queen? Then check. Oh, my goodness, and you get mated here or here, depending on which square your king goes to. I had it. I had it, guys. I had it. I played rook d4 to prepare bishop takes a3. Okay. He goes knight to d2, which is a good move. Now, if bishop takes a3, it's a little premature. The knight will jump into c4 or b3. One of these two squares, knight on c4, forking the bishop and the queen, right? So here he's just able to grab that bishop on a3 cleanly. So I can't just allow that to happen. So here's why, that's why I played bishop to d5, which is a good move. Stopping knight to b3 and knight to c4. And now, like, if you give me another move here, this is going to kill you. I knew it that at this point. Queen takes a3 is going to kill you. I'm already coordinating on a2 and rook b4. I'm really wanting to do it. So bishop to d5 played. Ibrahim, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Bishop to d5 played. And c4. Which is apparently a mistake, although, like, not a bad mistake at all, because it's not obvious what's going on here. c4 makes a lot of sense, because you're trying to make the bishop move and then just play knight b3 with a fork, right? How could that be wrong? How could that be wrong? The problem is, and it's what I spotted during the game at the last moment here, with 4 seconds to go against 13, is that, so I move my bishop, he plays knight to b3, he forked me, and also my queen's running low on squares, so he's going to take that rook, right? Wrong. It's -4 for me when I play this nice move, rook takes d3. Rook takes d3 out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, everybody coordinates perfectly. The rook on e1, I said it wasn't well placed there. It's really not. Takes d3. I just need to go rook takes d3. I'm attacking the queen here. If you take it, I take here, and I'm up a piece. I'm up a piece because the rook is hanging on e1 with the queens losing the defense there. And if you play knight takes a5, I take here. And if you play knight takes b7, I just move the rook, save it. I'm going to play king takes b7 next turn. That knight is trapped in there. Otherwise takes, and that looks very similar to the game, 2 bishops for the rook. In the game, so, okay, goes knight takes a5, and I take the queen. Take here. Bishop takes, very important. Not king takes, allowing this with check, which would change everything, and now I would lose. Bishop takes, very important. Takes a5. We've done everything right. It's a completely winning endgame. It's -4. 2 bishops for the rook very cleanly. What happened here? Okay. Blitz out gets crazy. Rook to e3, bishop to e7. We're just straightening things out a little bit. King c2, bishop c6, and a4. So I straighten that pawn out pretty nicely. It's defended. There's no entry squares for the rook. Let's now figure out how to make progress. So my bishop comes to c5, which is actually, you know, we're actually making a ton of progress here. There was no b4. Bishop on c5, bishop on c6. We're looking at bishop f2 and bishop f3. Yeah, let's win some pawns. Those are the only pawns unprotected in the whole position. Protected, 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 right? These are all there. These are all protected. Those guys are my targets. So let's see what we can do here. Rook e2 covers bishop f2, not bishop f3. So rook h2, and we take that pawn. Things are going great here. King d3, we go check, king e2. And it was here I realized, oops, that check wasn't smart. Oh no, I don't know what I realized. Okay, check, it was fine. I'm playing bishop to d4. Again, another nice move. Bishop came to d4 here, looking at the b2 pawn. That's another pawn we can attack. King comes to f3, and I play here king to d8, which is a little bit of a strange move, stepping potentially into the line of fire. Probably a better idea was just like c5, making the bishop super solid here, and tying the rook down to b2 for eternity. If g4, bishop to d3, this should be actually a really easy victory. This should actually be a really easy victory. But none of us, we're playing on 1 second increment with 5 seconds apiece. So what's going on here? Against one of the better, like blitz out players in the world, probably. Like, top 3, I would say. King to d8, rook to d2. c6. Oh yeah, I forgot. I mouse slipped here. We played c6 instead of c5. Look at the gap between the best move and the second best move. Minus 5.79 if I play c5. Plus 2 if I play check. Okay, this bishop was that good, actually. So this is a huge swing from -6 to +4, with now my bishop just hanging on d4 because I played c6 in the blitz out, but not c5. That's part of the game. He actually maybe doesn't even realize it because we're both just moving so fast. He plays g4, you know, just attacking this bishop. Unfortunately for me, g4 is actually a good move because, like, it's not like he just played something totally random and then I can fix it. g4 does attack my bishop, so it's like, it's kind of like an in-between phase. This rook takes d4 would go from completely losing for white to completely winning. The g4 is somehow the only in-between situation where now it's like about equal. I play now c5 to fix it. Takes. It's actually still should be very good. It's plus 1.4 now. It's plus 1.4. So I just lost that bishop hole. That's what happened. I just lost the bishop hole. To be clear what I mean, yeah, c5. No, this should be winning quite easily for black. You know, some idea I might look for is, yeah, probably just picking off that pawn. There's not a lot we can do about bishop b1, bishop a2. Just grabbing that pawn, and, you know, you can start advancing with these guys. You can also bring the king in, try to bring the king to b3, and really just eliminate b2 systematically. There's nothing white can do. There's no open files or anything. So in the game, let's talk about this. So g4, engine wanted me to take it, and here was a better structure than allowing takes f5. Best option for white. This is actually really important. White actually has one move that preserves the advantage, because rook h2, and now you can see and it drops to dead equality. Not that this really matters in a crazy blitz out, but rook d3 is actually a really nice move. It's not obvious why, and you know, you need much more time than this to realize this. But I can't take b2. This is the only instant where I can't take b2. Right? Otherwise, like, I'm going to move my king, and you're going to be stuck to that pawn. It's not moving, and this bishop is also not moving, and that pawn is also not moving, so you're going to be stuck defending that pawn. But you can play rook d3. This is one instant where I can't take it. Now I get off the line. What's the point of rook d3? A, it holds the pin. B, it holds the b3 square. So now you play b3, make that pawn trade. You don't have to deal with this. You can even get that pawn to a light square. It won't be attacked, and also the rook finally has a file to get under here and start attacking a6 and winning the game here. So rook d3 was actually a really good move, and that's why white is winning in this position if they find it. In the game, he just plays rook h2 because we're just moving around here. King e7, rook e2. I play g6 because, again, we're just moving around here. Rook g2. I play h5. I'm like, okay, let me make them all on nice, pretty defended squares. We're just moving around here. King e2. Oh, I actually don't notice that king e2 hangs the b2 pawn. Okay. King d6, king to d3. I play h4, right? I'm like, okay, let me cause you some problems. I think he probably had the idea at this point to play king c2 and b3. King c2 and b3, that's very logical. And then to play king takes b3, right? So let's say I keep doing nothing here, right? You don't want to keep doing nothing. Oh, well, king c2 is not a good move because it actually hangs f4. So what you need to do is rook e2 maybe, right? You saw what I meant there. King to e7, if he plays king c2, bishop e3, there's no way to defend this pawn. And then that falls, and then if that falls as well. Okay, and then these guys will overwhelm. So right now he needs to control the e3 square. He needs to double control it for a second, so that king c2, so that he can arrange b3. This is if black just really is doing nothing. I mean, again, apparently this was bad. Again, I guess the king has strayed too far here, and like, this pawn can just go at this point. This pawn can just go at this point, and g5 is necessary yeah, this king is too far, and this pawn mass will be too good. But that's what he was going to go for. Like, you know, you want some idea in a blitz out. Like, he's going to try to take this and push this pawn. Apparently my guys are just way faster, so this wasn't even a good idea. But yeah, so white actually has to hang tight here. I'm actually kind of the only one that can do something. And I try. So I play h4. So I make this bold decision to release the pawn from a defended square and send it at this rook, because I dare you to take it, because I'm going to take this one. And I felt like in the heat of the moment that if I take that one, which is what happened, he to his credit, he makes that trade, take b2. But now white is winning because, he plays king to e2, right? So, in the heat of the moment, I'm like, I'm going to hit this pawn and this pawn, right? So I'm like, taking this pawn is very important. It's actually not that important, because he just needs to play king c2, stopping bishop c1. The rook defends a3 for him. So now I come back bishop to d4, but now that pawn trade has happened, the b2 pawn wasn't very valuable. It's not like it gave me a pass pawn. In fact, I lost the most valuable pawn on the board. The rook gets under. The rook finally has a route back here. It's the h line that I just gave him. Remember, it was clogged before. Now the rook comes to h8. It's going to come to a8. It's going to take all these pawns. Maybe they can time this a little better, make sure I can't get in bishop e3. It's a little tough for white, because any pawns on dark squares are targets, right? If this pawn were on a2, they'd have a much easier time, because I can never take it. But here, like, it's on a dark square, so I have bishop e3 ideas, and here I have bishop e2 ideas. But, you know, they get away with all this bishop e3 here. Yeah, these trades end up working out for them. They're going to win this. They're going to win some sort of foot race here. So, in the game, king to e2 played. King to e2 played, which makes sense, right? Because you want to defend this pawn, you want to bring it there. But bishop to c1 actually becomes very annoying for white, because king to f3, you would interrupt the defense of a3. That's what he does. King f3, and I grab a3. Rook to h8. He finally gets underneath here. He finally gets underneath, but not after losing only after losing the a3 pawn. So I play your bishop to b4, rook to a8, and now after a5, right? So I actually, this pawn looks totally useless, but I get it to a5, and now there should be nobody stopping this pawn getting all the way to a1, and here it's actually -7. I should win. I should win, but we have like no time. So the rook coming to a8 was not a smart idea. What he needed was rook h2 and actually coming to a2. He needed to just bring this guy here and kind of just hang tight, and apparently this is drawn. He traded the h pawns for the b and the a pawns, but apparently it's still drawn because it's hard for me to actually make any progress here. He comes around, which, you know, you can't blame him for. That's a good idea, but I have this pawn on a5 that blocks the rook's control, which is very important. So he goes check, he does whatever he can do. I'm like trying to find a way out of this, like stop checking me. I come to king g7, rook a7, and here I'm worried about e6. I'm worried about e6. And so I play like king g8 again to get out of the way of that. He goes check here. Apparently, like, this is nothing though. a3 e6, a2 e7 was my concern, but I win on this foot race here, here, and I have some series of checks that ends the game. If you go here, I go check and take the queen. This isn't what happened. And if you go here, then bishop to e1, and here you're gonna get somehow checkmated. King h3 mate, king h1 check, and mate, check, and mate. So there was some series of mate, but I probably had a cleaner route, which was probably king h6. King h6 just so e6 I can take it, right? My concern was like rook a8. Yeah, this was my concern. And now if I play a3, you go check and you just still come back here. But apparently I'm still winning this. I don't know what the difference is between this and the idea is now I can come to b2. Was there just an easy way to win? Is kind of my question. I think the answer is no, which makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Because like here, okay, I still get checked. The eval is going to be big in every line because there's some complicated winning line. But yeah, e6 with the pin is tough. E6 with the pin suggests that I need to race. Because if takes here... Okay, this race I win cleanly, yeah? No. I win for the same complicated reason as before, which is we both queen, and then I have some checks that win the game. So I actually had to see that. And, you know, it's really not clear what's happening there, because when they've got a rook and your king feels unsafe, but you're both queening. But the thing is, I queen first and can start checking first. And that's a tough one to see. So we end up just repeating here, and we draw a wild game. A wild game against Danya himself. Wow. Let me go back to the beginning because I wanted to talk about this line. I wanted to talk about this gambit a little bit with bishop to g5. And this is just a pretty standard French. This is a pretty standard French, and the most common moves here include d takes e4 and like bishop e7 or something like this, which is like pretty tame, just trying to not lose a piece, or bishop to e7, which invites white to actually make a pretty pleasant trade for them. The dark square bishops, which should be good for them because the dark square bishop in the French for black is the good bishop with the pawns on the other color, whereas that's the opposite of the case for white. Their center pawns are on dark squares, blockading their own bishop. Or there's some sharp line here with like bishop to b4 here, and you know, trying to play here in like g5 and 8 e4. There's one other option, which is this move h6, and it, as I was saying earlier, it forces kind of takes f6, queen takes f6, and e takes d5. He played actually a very good option here, which is a3, which really just took away the choice that I wanted with bishop to b4. And indeed, if e takes d5, bishop to b4 is the line that I am looking for. Bishop to b4, now we have the bishops, but we have the bishops in a situation where this light square bishop is actually not going to be bad, because both of these pawns that would otherwise blockade it are off the board. And with bishop to b4, we're directly threatening to just grab our pawn back here with a much better position where actually the bishop pair starts to look nice. So with e takes d5 coming, presumably they played d takes e6. And this is... Chessmoods has popularized this. Shout out to them. Referral code will be in a link in the description. I actually really love Chessmood. I used it a lot for my own journey to FIDE Master. We ended up calling this the McCutcheon Gambit. My own innovation here, because they give this line with bishop takes e6. My own spicy innovation here is castles. And it's pretty interesting, and it's not just a trick, right? So e takes f7, and I'll talk about that in a second. It's not just a trick, though, because what we want to do is that we actually want to play like rook to e8, and if the bishop comes somewhere, we want to take with the rook, not with the bishop, and then make things really, really hard for you to castle. Say bishop e2, queen to e7. You can't castle because of the pressure on e2, right? So if you castle here, for example, you're losing that bishop. So it's actually very tough for white to play. It doesn't look like it, but you're very far from castling. and you're going to have trouble because that file is open right onto you. If you want to open another file, be my guest. E takes f7, queen takes f7. Here we're down 2 pawns. We're down 2 pawns. And so, okay, we're threatening f2, right? So, okay, presumably we play knight f3. We're down 2 pawns here. And I also played, I played against Stockfish in this line in the original video where I cover all the theory. I played against Stockfish in this line, and Stockfish played queen to f3. And I remember playing this with queen to g6 here, and Stockfish actually went and took my bishop. But we ended up having like a crazy draw here. I didn't lose this rook. So that's actually, it was a pretty interesting one. I would recommend you to check that out. Okay, queen f3 is a very non-human move, but knight f3. And the trick here, and this is where I'll leave you, is what we're going to do is we're going to play c5. And c5 is a very annoying move, and presumably they're going to play d5 to shut that down. And you can see it's a huge blunder, but it's not really apparent why at all. d5 to shut that down, because if you just kind of like play like bishop e2 after cd4, you can't take with the knight. So you have to take with the queen, but then knight c6 is actually really, really nice recapture. Not obvious where to go. Let's say you come back. Okay, you keep getting hit here, and this isn't fun. I don't know what you do here. Bishop d3, you get checked, and bishop e2. Okay, now you're gonna probably run into a tough situation where like all the rooks are coming to d8, hitting all this, and it's like really unpleasant actually. So there is a nicer line they can play if they pull that off successfully, but the most obvious move here would be to just kind of play d5. Just be like, no, I don't want that pawn trade to happen. I don't want knight c6 to happen, right? I'm going to play d5, and next turn I'll play bishop e2 and castles. What could possibly stop bishop e2 from being the next move? What could possibly stop bishop e2 from being the next move? There's but one. It's this filthy, filthy move bishop to h3. It's this absolutely filthy move bishop to h3. I love this. So, A, bishop can't move anywhere, right? Would you agree? Here, we take g2. Okay, we hit the rook, and then we take everything, and we're up a piece. Okay, B, if they take here, we're not just going to go here and trade queens, right, where we just trade the bishop for the knight and now trade queens. No, we play rook to e8 check. Or no, first we make this trade. We play rook to e8 check. If you play bishop to e2, I take f3, and this is brutal with the pin here. Rook g1. Okay, we can just take everything here, and then or we take here first, and then we win the rook. So that's actually very, very nice. Otherwise, if you play king d2 to try to keep this defense, I've actually had this before. Queen to f4, king d3, and c4 checkmate. That's actually completely forced, because their development's so bad they actually can't blockade with anything. So this is a really, really pretty checkmate, isn't it? Really, really, really pretty checkmate. Bishop to h3, one of the nicer moves, and I've had it in a game, and I know a couple of you have had this in a game. I mean, it's just like one incredible move. Otherwise, the best move for white is like trying to like just let the bishop hang out there, but it ties down this bishop. The thing is, it ties down this bishop, so when we go rook to e8 check, you have to move your king, because you can't go bishop e2 because the bishop's just hanging out here, threatening to take g2 at any moment. You got to go king d1, and now here we can go knight c6. The bishop's just hanging out here. You can't move this guy. I'm going to take it. You can't take here. The knight is hanging, and then the rook will hang after that. Knight c6 is also playable. I can leave that hanging because of rook d8, because I'm going to win the queen, because again, you can't play bishop to d3 because this is brutal. So knight c6 we can play and just bring the rook to d8 and just have so much fun here. Okay. The full repertoire of how to play this, including some better options for white, I chose some of the fun and more common options, is on my channel. But this is a really, really fun gambit, and it makes sense that even though this is the top Stockfish move, he takes d5, white has some other options like bishop c4 and bishop to b5, but it makes sense that Mr. Naroditsky immediately plays a3. He said, I want none of that, and we had a very, very interesting battle. Subscribe if all that goes on YouTube. Subscribe if all that goes on YouTube. Shout out to Danya Naroditsky himself. Let's now have a look at another one of our games. I wanted to have a look at this one. I didn't get a chance to finish analyzing. Where did we leave off? Second. Hold on but one moment. One sec, guys. I'm going to analyze this game against the GM in a moment. Yes, Title Tuesday is over, but we have more GM scalps that we need to have a look at. Okay. We were in the middle of analyzing this game. I do recall. We were about... Played rook b8, bishop to b2. Okay. I think we were about here when we were analyzing the game before against this GM. That, yeah, our big GM scalp of the day. He plays here bishop to b2, which is an okay move, but probably not the best spot for the bishop because it actually gets in the way of this rook. What the engine wanted here was just the simple solid d3, and then e3. And what the bishop can do from here, like let's say I just kind of play like bishop somewhere, just and then e3, knight e4. They can actually kind of force my hand on this pawn here, threatening to take it, and maybe bishop takes at some moment if the knight comes to e4, getting out of the way of this line of fire. But the bishop on b2 doesn't really do anything. And just kind of gets in the way here. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of proceed with my idea. I like h5. I'm trying to play h4. There's no g4 in that position. The bishop can control that. And with h4 and then following knight f5, like, I'm just kind of trying to put a bunch of pressure on g3. Okay, I mean, the best move a little bit was bishop g4, knight d4, looking at some pressure here as well. You know, I mean, okay, there's a lot of logic to that. But instead, I just played h5. And so he plays knight e4. Yeah, note that h4 for white is not a good idea. A, because my bishop can just hang out on g4 forever without h3. B, because this knight is going to come to the f5 square and attack g3. C, because I can just play kind of g5 at some moment, make that trade queen takes g5 and play h4. So h4 doesn't really stop me in my tracks so much. But he puts the knight on a nice square here, knight to e4, which is a good move, and I need to play b6, defending it c5. And this is a good spot where we're out of this line of fire, which is nice. Engine's top recommendation was actually making this trade in my face, because I think something they can do here... Oh, d4 really opening that up. It's a sharp continuation, and maybe they can look to put the rook on g1 and kind of flip the script there in terms of who's attacking who. In the game, e3, which makes a lot of sense. Which makes a lot of sense to do that actually same trade is what they want, except not having to play g takes f4, which I understand the hesitation to do it. It also prepares d4, right? What you don't want to do if you're white here is kind of just do nothing, and then allow me to play knight f5, h4, make those trades there, you know, get my pieces over, and to continue to pressure. You want to be able to strike back in the middle if I'm just going to open everything up here, and so putting d4 on the table is definitely a smart idea. But here we have bishop to g4. That's the other thing the pawn on h5 does well, is it supported bishop to g4, and this isn't something you can just dodge, because now f3 is a really nice achievement. Gets in your face. I never have to worry about pawn takes f4 again, and here we're probably going to follow with h4 at some moment, and crash through on the h-line. In the game, so he plays f3, which is nice. I like that I've jammed in that bishop, which was otherwise causing me some annoyance. I just back it up a little bit. Okay, which is fine. Okay, wanted me to come to e6. It probably didn't want me to take away the square from the knight, but okay, I played bishop to f5 in the game. Queen to e2 played. Engine wanted g4, which is spicy. It's spicy. It looks bad, but f takes g4 is actually nice. It helps you undo the scope of that bishop. It's kind of like a crazy sort of position. You'll also note here, I'm down a lot on the clock. A minute 47 to 20 seconds against this GM from Serbia. Serbia, that's where the World Chess Boxing Championships are. Mikhail Bryakin. So he plays here queen to e2, which is just a pretty logical move. Now we just step up queen to d7, which also is a logical move. We took g4 off the table. We're coordinating our rooks. We're still defending d6. He's playing rook c1 now so that this knight is not hanging. Yeah, d4 is not really possible right now. I can just kind of take it enough times. Yeah, really, I mean, I just eat it. I just eat it. There's nothing else to it. And yeah, the pawn on f3, that was a dangerous bishop, and I'm very happy that that's jammed in. So he plays rook c1 so that he's not losing the knight in any case if that knight needs to move. Bishop to h6, which the engine hated. 2 question marks is a little cruel. It goes from minus 0.4 to about equal. But yeah, the engine just wanted me to activate this rook somehow so that, you know, any d4 happens and the rook is useful, whether it's here or anywhere else. Just bring that guy into the game. Bishop to h6, I mean, what I want is I kind of want to play like g5 and g4. It was such a bad idea because of this line. Takes. Oh, and then check here. Check here if the bishop is able to coordinate with the knight here. Yeah, that would be a problem. That would be a problem. Okay, so we both missed that, though. He plays rook to d1, looking at his d4 idea. I play g5. He plays d4. And so finally, he's breaking through here, right? And so if I were to just kind of trade everything here, that's not good for me at all. This isn't good for me at all because now you see what's happened. Like, this bishop is just streaking in on the f6 square. He's got, like, lots of nice open files. Yes, this is still out of the game, but it's the only piece that's out of the game because he's got, like, lots of activity here, and this diagonal that opened onto my king is not good. I've pushed my pawns. I've made my king much more unsafe than his. So I don't want to trade everything there. So what I do is I find a nice little workaround here. I take e4, which forces f takes e4, and now I just play g4, and it opens the scope of this bishop again, and I'm looking for f3. So now instead of, like, trades happening on d4 everywhere and like this opening and this opening, I'm threatening f3. You've got to take on f4, which looks much better for me, right? So these pawns are still kind of there. These pawns are still kind of there blocking your files. G takes f4 played, and here I actually find a really creative move here because I could just kind of like, I don't know, play bishop takes f4, and here he actually has a really nice rook sacrifice here. Takes c1, bishop takes c1. Yeah, I mean, you can see this is dangerous. Like, I've pushed these pawns all the way here, and now I've kind of traded away my best defenders. Like, all this is going to open up in my face. This bishop's going to come to d5. Looks a little scary, right? But I find a nice little workaround here by jumping in knight g6. Jumping in knight g6, and this is like a forced exchange sacrifice. Because if you do anything else, like, okay, the next best move is king to h1, just stepping out of the way, but the knight taking on f4 is extremely strong. Like, okay, let's actually say you were greedy. Let's say you played rook to b1 to step out of the way. Knight takes f4. Hard to find a square for the queen. Let's say e1 to stay out of this line of fire, right? If you went there, this is check winning the queen. So let's say queen to e1 played. Okay, I would play c takes b4 so that, you know, this pawn wouldn't trade and open the d line. So c takes b4, a takes b4, and then, okay, we would just have a nice attack here. Takes, and, like, the rooks are coming into the middle. And, yeah, I mean, we managed to keep actually all these pawns here blocking them from doing stuff, whereas my rooks are actually free. They're not blocked by pawns, and their king looks bad as a result. So knight g6, but he plays f5. He plays f5, and just offering that as an exchange sacrifice. So this is interesting, right? So we play your knight to f4, queen slides, take g2, takes g2, takes c1, takes c1. Okay, bishop takes c1 was better, because the rook was actually apparently operating very nicely here. But, I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't want to move either of those pieces from their posts. So now what's happening, right? So we've reached another weird position. This game has been kind of crazy, but we're staying focused on what's actually going on here. They've got a bishop and a pawn for my rook, right? But both our kings are a little open. My king seems a little bit more open. They've got, like, some defense here. Whereas, like, you know, if this opens up and, like, the queen comes to c3, that's actually really dangerous. Like, a queen and bishop along that diagonal, when you don't have it blocked, will just kill you. Because it's not only g7 you need to guard, but it's also, like, h8 you need to guard. And it can become kind of impossible to guard both. Also, like, the queen can slip under to g5, right? Or you know, to h6. I mean, there's a million squares that I need to cover when my pawns aren't just in front of my king. So it gets a little tricky. So the only way to actually get them is to not deal with that is to strike first. So I bring the rook that's doing nothing into the game, rook to b8, pressuring e4, right? If I can take e4 and take f5, that would be awesome. In the game, rook comes back to d1 out of its poor post on c1. Now I jump here queen g7, which is another nice move. Taking advantage of the fact that that bishop is actually not protected, so d takes c5 is not on the table, right? That's what they wanted to do here, d takes c5, using the pin here and crashing through as a result. But queen g7 is again going to keep these pawns where they are, not trading off and allowing all these pieces to flow through. The bishop is hanging here. So that works out well for me. And then otherwise, like, some knight move to organize the defense, but then that pawn is hanging. The knight would no longer be defending. So we make things pretty hard. Also with queen g7, it's in front of my king, so there's no, like, h3 or anything. That could have been a problem before, or, like, the queen coming to d2 and g5 here, which also would have been a problem before. So it's hard to find a great move for white. Top move was, like, this crazy line with, like, takes, and e5. Just, like, boom, 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 boom. But just try to blow it open as much as you can. So for the bishop to have some freedom. My opponent can't blame this decision at all, which is just bishop to a1. Just get the bishop to a defended square so d takes c5 is on the table again. But now my queen finishes her route. Queen g7, queen g5 was actually a really nice maneuver. A, it shielded my king really nicely. B, you know, we've kind of got to spots where now we're looking to get underneath and start causing problems for your king, right? So he starts with these captures here on c5. Oops. Don't look. I hit the down arrow. Starts with these captures here on c5. Takes, right? So, but these trades are not looking great. So suddenly we trade everything, and finally you got that D line open, and finally you got that bishop open. But my queen isn't there for that to be a problem, right? Where the bishop or rook could take it. And my queen on g5 looks pretty nice here. You don't have any immediate invasions. I'm just going to try to play rook d8, make that trade, and then invade with like rook d2. Or I want my knight coming to e5 or something, and then coming into f3. My opponent plays here, bishop c3. Yeah, rook d6 was probably what they thought they could do, hitting my knight and threatening rook to g6 here. I don't even have knight e5 because you can take it, and then, okay, you again have access to g6. But fortunately, I get you first. Or I was going to say I have queen c1 here. Ah, you have queen f1? I was going to say here, and I would take it with check. But it's not the best move. The best move was rook to d8. Oh, wow, crazy lines here. You go rook g6, but takes, and check, and I get you. I get you last. I don't get you first, I get you last. And here I win the queen without even having to trade off the rook for it. Queen f1, only legal move. Or knight e1, I take it. And then I take this as well. So, oh, that's a nice move, and I would probably have to see that. Knight to e5 takes. What's the point here? Now I give the check. Okay, here, this is also a winning endgame that we could go into. Interesting lines. So he doesn't go for that. He goes for bishop to c3 to try to cover up a little bit around here. Maybe play bishop to d2 and drive this queen off of its very annoying post. Where she's threatening to jump into all these nasty squares. But now I'm just playing rook d8. I'm challenging this rook that is on a very dangerous open file, which is set up like rook to d6, right? Rook d6, also queen c1, then there was like a blockade on e1 now, potentially. So I'm just trading off for that guy, or I'm trying to. He dodges it, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, even if that wasn't the best move, but rook takes d8, I can play, and yeah, I'm trying to play queen c1 and rook d1, and I am getting you. My pieces are better, even though I didn't make my king safer. I made my king safer by just not letting your pieces come to me. So rook to d8 played, rook to f1 to dodge that, but now here comes my invasion. I take the d line, and I take the invasion square. Rook d3, now with a tempo on the bishop that jumped to c3. You got to move that out of the way. It comes to e1, which is kind of a big concession, because you wanted it here. This was your big dream. This was your big dream to arrange to get the queen to b2 and invade here, but now I had rook d2. Now I had rook d2 just picking off that knight very cleanly here. Let's say rook f2. Okay, play rook d8. I mean, this is very, very ugly stuff. So bishop now, unfortunately for white, they need to play very defensive. And the other thing the bishop is no longer doing along this diagonal, right? We can now jump in with another piece, is the knight. Knight comes into e5, just a gorgeous square. Remember, these pawns look so intimidating. These files look so intimidating. This diagonal looks so intimidating. The idea of getting the knight to e5, like several moves ago, was like such an utter pipe dream here. But, you know, we managed, like, that was my pipe dream. Like to make that pawn straight and this knight to come to this beautiful e5 square, to look at f3, to blockade these pawns, to target c4, to blockade this diagonal. Like, can we do it? Can we really do it? And yes, we have achieved so much from starting in this position where this could go either way, right? It's equal right now, and white has a lot of compensation, could go either way. But we activated our pieces here. We made pawn trades the way we wanted. We didn't allow them to invade. Because we kept our foot on the gas here, and now we've tied them down in a situation such that my knight came to e5, and this is a huge, huge moment in the game, because now my knight's coming to f3 as well, and we can start looking at knockout ideas, like A, like rook to d1, and B, like the rook coming to d2. It's still dangerous, because like anytime, like if the queen can just somehow like get underneath and get to my king, like the king is exposed, but there's really no way to do it. Like your pieces are bad, and we've tied their pieces down pretty nicely here. So queen to e2, they're looking for a little bit of freedom, and we say, no, we're playing rook to d8 here, and start looking at ideas like I was saying here, rook to d2 and knight to f3 that could potentially end the game. So we're activating all our pieces now. f6 is a nice idea, right? We're so not out of the woods yet, because rook to f5 can come, potentially winning some material. f7, like that pawn can be very dangerous. If my king gets to f8, then all they need is just like a little bump of a check to, you know, potentially win the game. But knight to f3, we're able to get in the way. Remember, before we weren't able to use that pawn at all because of the pin, but knight to f3 check is a very nice move. King to h1 forced, you don't want to go here because rook to d2, and the other rook captures on d2, winning the queen. So king to h1, and I actually missed, I mean, I played queen takes f6 reflexively, just getting rid of this super dangerous pawn. But, okay, I missed rook to d2 here. Takes is possible because h2 is checkmate. I think I found that next turn. I just didn't even want f7 check or anything like that to get me, and I have the luxury to do this. Queen takes f6, you know, they're still not able to get me in this position. My pieces are actually very, very, very well placed. Knight to e3 is a nice move, trying to get knight to d5, which would disrupt the coordination here. So we jump out of the way, knight to d5, so it's not hitting our queen at least. They do activate this one piece. They're GM. They're going to keep fighting, and you know, if you don't find the best moves here, they're going to get you. So it disrupts the coordination, and rook to d2 is no longer possible because they can just take it on d2 now. So I need to jump out of the way here, and I grab this pawn on a3. This knight is very good, but it can't get me alone. Potentially with some like queen b2 resource, it could be a little dangerous. Could be a little dangerous here. Fortunately, I do have like a good move here. Like knight to f6 can come with hitting the rook. I do have a good move here, which is queen to e5, which kind of forces a queen trade because if you take my rook, I will take your king. In the game, bishop to c3 played, which is, you know, a very logical move here, trying to set up some sort of coordination on f6. But we find the nice tactic that ends the game, just taking that dangerous bishop, knight takes c3, and rook to d2. I achieve rook to d2 the second time around in a little bit more complicated of a fashion. The queen doesn't have access to the c4 check or anything nasty like that, and we're just going to get him on h2. And so from here, this was just kind of elementary, just picking some stuff off. We won that, and then we forked the king and the rook to end this crazy game. A really crazy game that started from the most tame of openings, the symmetrical English variation, but we got a big GM titled Tuesday scalp in the third round. Subscribe if this all goes on YouTube. Subscribe. Okay. Was there another one I wanted to have a look at? I think there was. There was this one, there was this one, there was this one. We already had a look at that. This game was a wild one. What happened here again? Oh yeah, this was the 120 move one. That's probably not going on YouTube other than with the stream. This one. It was 6 out of 11, but I feel like I played better than 6 out of 11. But I really liked that. What was I gonna say? I really like the counter. The countdown timer. It was kind of a fun. It's kind of a fun one to have it. Let me get this one. Okay, I'm probably gonna sign off here. But thank you guys so much for this stream. For watching my stream. If you want the Gambit Chat repertoire, go to the link tree. It is the link right there. Vishnu Warrior with this sub. Thank you so much. It is the link right there. Link tree. It says it's my link tree. Here, the awesome Gambit repertoire. You can play a Gambit against every single line, and it is brand new. It is super good. It is actually legitimate. It is very well researched by me. Full repertoire available for free. They're like chessable courses, but for free. And then in that playlist, you see just all the games that I've played there, explaining more and more ideas, and the awesome Discord server that you should join right here. Get notified when I go live and post new videos on YouTube. We're posting every day. We're streaming every day. And it's just an awesome Discord server where you share games and we discuss these opening ideas as we trailblaze brand new opening theories so that you can prank your opponents in the opening. And finally start out prepping them rather than playing like 20 moves of London theory. Play the London Crusher 9000 they don't see coming instead. Appreciate you guys. Join the Discord server. Subscribe to me on YouTube here. And I will be live again soon. What a great Title Tuesday this was. Thank you all.